cold power rippled toward them, and as it hit, Cassian let it surge past him, around him, yielded himself to it. Because to stand against it would be to provoke the mask's wrath. To stand against it would be to stand against death itself, death herself. And so they did what their people had always done before death's beautiful face. They bowed. Hi, and welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
Hi, and welcome back to our 7th episode of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Welcome back. Yeah, so this is our final deep dive episode of part 1. We're doing like the, part 1 finale. What a place to end, by the way. And then we will be having, we'll go over later Dad and Mom's episode afterwards so that we can.
And that will end Act 1.
Yes, Act 1 of this book, because this one is so epic, so. But yes, so we will be going into chapters 30 to the end of 37 today, and explicit warning, there is a sex scene at the end of this part, and what is it? Climactic end.
I mean, if you've gotten this far with us, you know that there's lots of sex in this book already, or sexual tension.
Yeah, but this is actually the first sex scene.
First coupling.
The first, But yeah, honestly, I literally was about to say that. So explicit warning, be wary of little listening ears. Very much for this one, because I'm actually probably going to blush at this one, which I don't normally do. I probably will. So yeah, let's get right into it, shall we?
Yep.
Previously on A Court of Silver Flames. So last episode was very much this continued growth of this group, right? Of warrior women. So Emery joins into the fold. We get some backstory on her. Gwen and Emery start to bond over not only them starting to get past their fears of this, but also romance books, which I think all of us as readers, SJM knew what she was doing with that because we all needed our own for that. And so we get a lot of change in Nesta here where she's, being a little bit more truthful with everybody and being more nice, which is kind of wild.
Kind of weird.
I mean, she's so nice that she sucks Cassian's dick under the table to make him feel better.
How nice of her. What a nice gal.
So we had that, and then the main plot point of last time was the main plot point from last time wasn't we have way more plot relevant stuff happening in this one than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the war is now upon them, and now they gotta be more pushy to Nesta about her scrying, because with Feyre's pregnancy, other people could want to kill her, and so now they gotta figure this shit out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so Nesta does try to scry again, which happens at the end of the chapters that we went into last time. And that didn't really end well, did it? Because she didn't do it. She got frightened, and then she has a sleep paralysis dream that night of getting attacked by the cauldron, and the boys have to save her out of her nightmare.
Cassian in his Calvin Klein underwear.
Girl! I can't stop thinking about that. I even have that in my notes at the beginning, so it's not in my...
Yeah, he didn't need to throw on clothes. He needed to go.
He was ready. He was ready to go into action. And Rhys, we end with Rhys being like, her power is death,
completely drained.
Scared?
Yeah. Terrified of
Scared of that power in her hands specifically, I think.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have been antagonizing her this whole time.
And so we start up at the next morning. So let's go right into chapter 30. So as Nesta describes it, the dream had been real and not real. It's one of those things where it's did that actually happen? Oh shit, I think it did. She describes what happened that night, what she saw before. She was just terror, endless escape. And then I heard a male voice. She doesn't immediately recognize it as Cassian's, but she's like, I heard somebody, and it brought me out of it. And the axis of the world had shifted toward that voice. A doorway full of light and strength. Oh, sorry. There's going to be so many times when I do that, so...
Cassian is the light at the end of her tunnel.
Yeah, the light of her life.
The center of her world. Or the axis of her world.
Yeah. And then she does hear Reese's voice, like she's like, oh, it's a voice I heard before, but not ever in this nice lully tone. And she describes how he like led her into this nightmare, like led her into a dream full of drifting clouds, rolling hills under a bright moon.
Aww.
I don't know why, but I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, do we see this place? I wonder if this is an actual place. And I'm just like, I'm missing something here. I don't think that's canon, but I'm like, something seems odd there. Oh my god, how cute is it? So she's kind of like waking up. She wakes up before Cassian is sitting in the chair, sleeping next to her. He slept there all night.
He needed to make sure she didn't burn up again.
I love how the fact like his wings are just drooped, and then how she describes it is his wings droop with a cover on him and him still in his Calvin Klein underwear and nothing else. And I'm sitting there, I feel like I would have a moment of, oh, he's sitting there next to me, and then look down and be like, oh, he's sitting there next to me.
He doesn't have any clothes on. I mean, except for those very tight boxers right there.
It has to be the Calvin Klein. It can't. It's not like Fruit of the Loom. I'm like, it's not. I was thinking to myself, I bet Azrael put that cover on him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was Reese, because Reese kind of booked it out of there. I don't think he would do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe the house did it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I could see it as both, but I'd like to think Azrael did it.
Yeah, probably. I'm like, well, I'm not getting him out of here. Like, I can imagine, like, before Cassian fell asleep, Azrael's like, come on. And he's like, no. I was like, okay, fine. You're going to catch a cold if you're sitting there naked.
Right. And so, then...
Here. Like, not even, like, draping it over him necessarily, but, like, here, put this on.
Yeah, just throwing it. Well, I don't think anyone was going to sleep that night, so I think true. Azrael was like, nah, I'm not going to get any sleep.
Yeah.
What a way to wake up in the morning. That's so sometimes when, like, people, I said this in like a previous season, but when some people get a little freaked out about, you know, they think like the Twilight thing, Edward's watching her while she's asleep. It's like, there's a beautifulness to having like a very raw moment and then her waking up and watching him sleep. I don't think that's creepy at all. I think that's very much a sweet, oh my God, I'm thinking, oh my God, he sat there all night. Oh, he was the one, like she's having revelations as she's watching him. And it's so, I love how she describes this. Still scrunched, his brows were still scrunched with worry as if he fretted for her even in his sleep. Like a knight guarding his lady. She couldn't stop the image sprung from the pages of her childhood books, like a warrior prince with those tattoos and that muscle-bound chest. She was about to cry.
Oh.
I feel like that quote right there is the most Nesta-like I am. That was so raw for me to hear because it's like all of her life, her mother told her, you're going to have a prince, you're going to have a prince. I mean, obviously you're going to marry for advantage, but you're going to marry a prince, you're going to do all this. And then here he comes along, not only a prince, because like, it seems like the princes are kind of bitches in their world. Like if Grayson was the epitome of what a prince would be, they're not knights. No, thanks, actually. But they're normally in princes in lore like this aren't necessarily warriors.
Yeah.
So the fact that's why she calls him a warrior prince, because he's not just a prince, he's a knight as well. Yeah. It's like, I think we all want that. There's like a universalness to that of wanting somebody that wants to protect you so fiercely and not in like that anti-feminist way.
Also, she's literally doing what we're doing now, seeing all of these characters going on adventures in her books and being like, seeing the love that she can only find in books.
I know, it's a fourth wall break for sure. I was imagining an Office moment of her looking to us being like, you can have it too. It's like, fuck you.
I can't.
Cassian isn't unreal. Though some cosplayers have definitely made me think so.
Some of those cosplayers got it going on.
So she does like start blinking, and the fact that he hears her blinking and immediately wakes up.
Yeah.
He's like, she's awake. I can't like blink without him knowing that I... And she said it was so hard to not let herself cry because he was there. I like what she says. Like he always knew precisely where she was, and they were so full of worry of that unrelenting goodness. Oh, I'm gonna cry in this episode for sure. God damn it. But of course, it's Nessian, so it's like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? No. All right.
Are you hungry? Fuck off.
Well, she does let him take her to this.
That's true.
But not bridal style. She walks.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess but I like how she describes it as he made it so normal in a way that most people wouldn't. Like, after that night, you'd think that he'd be scared as shit, or he'd be, I don't know, he'd feel weird about her power. Like, he'd be kind of keeping his distance, like maybe Reese would. But he's like, oh, okay, I mean, you don't want to talk? All right, he made it seem so normal. And she was actually happy about that. Okay, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. He was so normal in a way most people would never be. And I feel like this is kind of a theme of this set of chapters of him seeing her crazy power and shit and then not balking from it.
Being like, ooh.
That's like, okay, that was a little intense. All right, let's move on. So they're just having breakfast. Nothing else happened. Not this time. Then we transition to where we're training, and they're doing their squats and their shit. And so the other priestesses do come. So that was from last time as well. We got 3 new recruits coming in. And Emery's like, what the fuck happened to you? Yeah. She's like, you look like you saw a ghost last night. It's like, I kind of did.
Yeah, yep, kind of did.
So they kind of bond over them having nightmares very similarly. Specifically, Gwen. She said that sometimes she basically needs a potion. I just said it was NyQuil. She's like, she needs NyQuil to get her to pass out. Or any Game of Thrones fans, she needs Milk of the Poppy to get her to go down.
I just imagine her like saying like, hey, you need to like sedate me so that I fall asleep.
I know, because it seems like, and I think Emery notices, she's like, oh shit. Because before she didn't really think that Gwen had any trauma necessarily. I think she kind of knew, but
she's like a pretty priestess.
To hear that she has nightmares like Nesta has, where it's, so crazy that she needs something to knock her out. It's like, oh shit.
The night stick.
And this is where the romance, but also this friendship is perfect in an SJM book. Unlike Cassian, who she can't talk to, I feel like she'll eventually talk to him about all this in like one big explosive moment. It is so easy to talk to them. Like, she doesn't necessarily explain everything, but she says it out loud. I dreamed of the cauldron and what it did to me. Oof. And they don't even elaborate. They're like, oh shit, okay, let's move on then. Like, they don't even ask questions. It's just very, and I love that sisterhood. I love her being able to feel like she can at least acknowledge some of it, but maybe not explain everything. But at least she's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Because it's Gwen that says, I dream of my past too.
Oh.
So then we move to good old Cassian's point of view, and immediately goes downhill in terms of, it just keeps going downhill until it goes back up again. So Cassian is in Reese's office. At first I thought everybody was there, but Azrael doesn't show up until later in the scene. So Reese has been acting a little bit different as of recently, but especially last night. Now we understand why during that scene he was so scared. Not just because of Nesta. It wasn't just her. It was the idea of everything involved in this scene.
Yeah.
So Cassian knows immediately that something's up. It's like they both look like hell. He's like, okay, I know what happened last night, but what happened to you before last night?
Right.
I do like how Cassian describes it as he nearly wept to have Nesta open her eyes, face clear and free of pain. Oh. Like, he wasn't scared at all of her power. He was scared that she was, like, in pain. Baby. This is why we love Cassian. Well, I love Cassian. So, are you ready for some more bad news, Liesl?
No.
When I heard this, I was immediately like, because at first in this part of the scene, we don't understand why it's so bad. But then Cassian explains later. But Reese says, baby has wings. At first, I think we're all like, yay, yeah, like
a new baby Illyrian.
We love wings.
We haven't really seen a baby Illyrian.
My God, a baby Illyrian would be so cute. Oh my God. Treat them good, or you will feel my wrath.
Specifically a baby boy Illyrian.
Initially, Cassian sparks at joy, but then goes, oh, are you sure? Again, at first we don't know why this is bad news. We're just I was just assuming he would, because I was like, oh, sometimes it happens where, like, if they're even a quarter, like, they could get the Illyrian trait. You know what I mean? Or he could be like Reese, where his wings can pop up out of nowhere. Like, either this kid is going to be the prodigal son where he's got all of the powers, or he's going to have legit nothing. We've already talked about this.
Also, if his wings could pop up, say, like, like Reese's do, it's like, just maybe as a baby before he's even born, like, make him remove his wings.
I know, yeah.
But we don't know that.
So they had an appointment with Maja yesterday. He's a quarter Illyrian, but so this is where this baby thing is interesting, right? Because purely based on him and Feyre, he is a quarter Illyrian. But Feyre was in her Illyrian form when they conceived this child.
So it almost makes it 3/4.
It almost makes him, yes, actually a 3/4 Illyrian, which would totally mean. So that's my question. I wonder if this baby's gonna act, if they survive. If what a way to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Would he be a quarter Illyrian, or would he be would he be a quarter? Because I feel like in that way he would be a quarter. Because what Reese is saying here is that Feyre not only just grows wings, but she fully shapeshifts into an Illyrian woman, which means the loins, the hips, whatever, like it all happens it all happens when she shifts.
So in that way, it would be 3/4.
Mm-hmm. And so they're kind of, again, like I appreciate the SJM-ness of this scene where like they understand what's going on, but we don't. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, Cassian's like, well, why doesn't she just shapeshift back into an Illyrian, right? Mm-hmm. Maja says she is forbidden from using magic and or to shapeshift because she might harm the baby in some way. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this, honestly, yesterday night. Talked about this pre-recording that I like the level to attention to detail in this about why this thing is so brutal.
Yeah.
About why, like, it makes sense in a way if she shapeshifts, because that's magic. That's happening around the baby, but also it could hurt it.
Right. Because, like, in that way, if you think about it, like, think about, like, our pelvises, like, they're shaped a certain way, and then they need to be shaped differently in order to accommodate wings. But in order to do that, like, you know, it would move the pelvic floor around, and it could actually crush the baby, or maybe, like, pin one of those said wings in a way.
And then that's literally you're kind of rolling the dice about whether or not that's going to happen anyway.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is bad. But again, like, Reese is getting freaked out. He's like, fuck you, this is bad. Cassian's trying to calm him down. But again, like, I'm still sitting there like, please explain why this is bad. Because, like, none of us are understanding.
Like, yeah, you might hurt the baby might be lost. I understand you're stressing out about that. But your reaction is also much bigger than that.
Than what we think, again. So it's, so then Azriel bursts in. No one says a word about this to Feyre. No one. Did Maja warn her? Yes. She said that there would be an elevated risk during labor, which is, so I don't want to go into this too much because we could talk about this for hours, but this is this is actually a critique in the fandom of Rhysand, of this, him deciding not to tell her. Mm-hmm. And when I was writing my notes about, I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Liesl about this so I could actually formulate my thoughts in a way. I totally understand what the fandom means when they say that Rhys should have told her.
Yeah.
But when I read it this time, I had a slightly different perspective than I ever had before. Imagine the love of your life, who you've already been through hell with. Mm-hmm. Both of you have died. And there's a very real possibility that the love of his life and his child that he never thought he'd have is going to die. There's, I mean, very much, if any of you are, you know, moms out there or people who have been pregnant before, like, pregnancy is still a big risk sometimes, like, when it comes to that. And this is a fantasy world, my man. They don't have the same technology. They don't have the, like, there's a level of magic can solve a lot of things, but it's not technology.
Right.
So I understand why, I understood more this time why he doesn't want to say anything to her. Mm-hmm. Because what's the point in him saying, I mean, obviously there's choice, she can understand, but it's not like there's really abortions in this universe. Like,
and you made a good point when we did talk this out of, like, stress is a huge factor in the pregnancy, and sometimes miscarriages can happen because of stress, anxiety, whatever the mother is feeling. Mm-hmm. So there's that too.
So if you tell her, like, and this is where this tough, it's not this, I feel like everybody makes this decision seem like, oh my God, he's not telling her, like, why is, you know, like, this is Rhysand's downfall. And I'm sitting there like, what's the point in him telling her if it's just going, because there is nothing she can do. All she's going to do is worry about it, and it's just going to put added stress onto her. Mm-hmm. I still think he should have told her, and he should tell her. But in this moment, I was thinking, and I told Lisa, I was like, I don't think he was thinking it would last. Like, I think it was this initial thing is, I'm not going to tell her, or please none of you tell her until I tell her. And find the right time to, because again, I've never been in love and I've never had somebody who I've loved with my entirety. I could not, just without all those other stressors, I couldn't imagine looking into the love of my life's eye and say, if this happens, there is a really high chance of you dying and or both of you dying.
And then also, if we remember, their ridiculous death pact.
Yes, I don't think I realized it until way too late that I was like, oh shit, at the end of Akawar, they made a pact with each other that if one dies, the other dies.
So,
and
Feyre will, if she dies in childbirth, the baby will die, she will die, and then on top of that, Rhys just gets brought along for the ride.
And Rhys dies as well, which is like, I don't think anyone else knows about that.
Kill the royal family. No, they don't.
So I don't think anyone else knows about that. So like, that's another thing Rhys is putting on his shoulders that no one else knows about. So
that one I think I disagree with a little bit more, just because it's like he like, obviously he's hiding it from Feyre, but now he's hiding the death pact from the rest of his family as well. So they're not aware that they're not only gonna, if this goes wrong, they're not only going to lose Feyre, their friend, they're also going to lose their High Lord, their brother, their cousin.
But they need to know that. Yeah. Because that's literally a part of the court. So that's an entire other discussion. Yeah. But I will say that I think this is a more nuanced conversation than what it appears to be. Like, Rhys shouldn't initially be scrutinized for it. I don't think anybody could fathom, unless you've been in that situation before, like, tell the person that you love that they're going to die. And that your death will cause my death. And then make them feel guilty about that. And then there's just another anxiety to add on to the stress. And then if she gets so stressed out that she has a miscarriage anyway, then that just fucked up anything that you probably could have saved.
Right.
So I understand why he doesn't initially tell her, for sure. Going into it later, maybe I'm not necessarily as pro about it. But I just wanted to say I had a different take on it this time. So Azriel coming in clutch with some more bad news. I don't think your boy was being really dumb for this. He already knew Rhys was so mad, but of course he had to like bring up. So Feyre's not gonna start showing until a couple weeks. What are we gonna, because people are gonna know.
Yeah.
And Eris will know, who cares, sorry. But Eris seems to be like their ally, so it's not like he's gonna really care about that. But what about Tamlin? Now, I think this is interesting, because my take on this time was that I didn't think he would care. I think the first time I was like, oh shit, if Tamlin finds out, he's gonna go off the rails and whatever. And I'm like thinking, he's already there.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that might make him like go fucking nuclear, but I don't know. I feel like he's so in his rut that I don't think that them saying that's just gonna be another tick off of, that's just another Tuesday.
Another person to piss off.
But Azriel, to your boy's credit, he does bring up a good point. In this new war that they're going to fight, they still need him and his forces, which I'm like, what forces? Right. Because where are they?
Well, they at least in that case still need him. He is technically a High Lord.
He's still incognito, and we don't know where the fuck he is. We haven't seen him all book. They've only mentioned him. So we don't really know where he is.
Yeah.
Is he really in spring? I mean, I'm going to assume so, but so Azriel's plan is going to summon Lucian so that he can do damage control. So they're going to summon Lucian to the Night Court, tell him what's going on, tell him Feyre's pregnant, and then he's like, you're going to be permanently stationed in the spring court until we figure out, if Tamlin's okay with this, or if he's not. Because you know what? I think that's a pretty good, I like this shift in dynamic, because I think at the end of Akawar, everyone was like, Tamlin told her to be happy and da-da-da, and then we get Frost and Starlight where he's like, he's still mad. Yeah. He's depressed, but he's still mad about it. He still loves Feyre.
He's still bitter.
I don't think the baby thing is going to help in any way.
It might be like, well, baby's not mine, so why should I help?
But I also don't think that he's going to want to kill it. Yeah. I think the only person who would want to kill it is Baron.
True.
But the other High Lords could be a problem too. I mean, this seems to be the first baby born of a High Lord couple in seemingly a long time. It seems like Lucian was the last one.
Yeah.
I know, it would be Tarquin. Tarquin's only 90 years old, so...
Oh, that's true.
He's he was probably like the last baby born
That's true.
of Fae heritage, of the High Lords.
That's true. Wait, but Tarquin's father was not the previous High Lord. It was like his uncle or cousin.
But like a High Lord lineage where he was,
I guess
like,
so.
you
Blood
know.
related.
Yeah, but I mean, no, you're right in a sense. Like, this is not the two, and especially a high lady. This is like the first descendant of an actual High Lord in a while.
Since Lucian.
Yeah, since Lucian. So that's like 400 something years.
Yeah.
Fuck. So, okay, Lucian, you're gonna do some damage control, and I'm excited to see him, though he doesn't show up in this section.
Yeah.
So yes, then we get to, well, first of all, by the end of that chapter, Cassian's like, okay, you ready to get bloodied up? And at first, I will tell you on this reread, even though I knew what was happening, I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, and then dinner time, Nesta's like, unlike the last dinner time, this is not. I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, dinner time, scene, yes, wait, no, shit. Not this time. Okay. Cassie, so she's waiting for him, which is very unlike her. I like the dynamic shifting now of Nesta being the one there first and then Cassian walking in. Or, you know, she's waiting for him. She's like, what the f happened? He has like a black eye, split lip, bruised up jaw. It's like, what happened? I sparred with Reese. She's like, he did that to you? And then he's like, you should see what he looks like. And I'm thinking to myself, he probably looks worse than he does.
I love the fact that it's like, all right, they fought it out to help relieve some of Reese's stress.
And the thing is, we know that.
Yeah.
I like how we know that versus
They've done
Nesta.
it before.
Nesta doesn't know that. And I like how we're getting her perspective on it because from before, it's like, oh, Reese is getting it out and Feyre saw it. And it was like, oh, I'm glad you're getting it out. But now we're seeing it from like his love interest perspective. Like, why did you let him do that? Why did it's an interesting perspective shift. Because I feel like in that way, you're kind of like, well, why the heck did Reese do that? And it's like, they do this.
They just do this.
She's like, well, Reese needed to fight out his fear. Okay. So we learn more from Cassian about immediately why this is bad. Also, Maja's a badass for one. I'm just gonna say that. The fact that she can, because they describe it as, like, when he starts his monologue about this, is that she can see the womb and that she can see inside of it.
It's kind of like using her magic as like an ultrasound.
Yeah, like an x-ray. Well, you don't x-ray a belly, but I know.
Ultrasound.
Yes, I understand, but I'm like thinking, visually I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. It's like an x-ray and an ultrasound combined. It's like doing the motions of an ultrasound, but like the clarity of an x-ray.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, is that I could actually like see it.
Yeah.
And that's why she could see the effects of it too. And I love how Cassian, also with a grave face, baby has wings. It's like, thank God. Can you explain why that is bad, please?
Please tell us.
I would like to know. But I do appreciate, before she goes into this, that's like Nesta is wondering what her powers could do if she managed it good. Like, could my powers do that? Like, Nesta as a healer, though, I don't know. No. I'm sorry.
Sit down and let me fucking heal you.
Her bedside manner would not be good. She'd be like the Christina Yang of the Grey's Anatomy. Christina, yes. Anyway, I know you don't know Grey's. It's not that Reese doesn't want him to have wings, but yes, it is, like we said before, a risk to Feyre's life, and one that not many people survive from. Now that Cass mentions it, we don't really know of any other half Illyrians.
No.
The reason Reese is a bastard, that they call him, because he's not full-blooded, is the reason it worked for him was because his mom was Illyrian.
Yeah.
And she had the body parts for it, the loins for it.
Versus if it was like his dad, but then a Fae mom.
Yes. Because Cassian says in their culture, and very much like we would think, is that females don't necessarily, they never really marry or have sex with people outside of Illyrian culture. Versus the Illyrians fuck whoever they want, and then they, have...
Oh, you're pregnant? Oh, well, sorry.
It's like,
thanks for the great time.
It's like, you were subpar. I feel like all of these Illyrians have good sex, though. Except for our three boys, and they're just, like, ways more superior than, like...
They're top tier.
Top tier. But of course, most mothers are not. They have the pelvis shape for a child to be born with wings versus high fae females don't. And I kind of appreciate this level of detail. Again, a lot of people criticize this baby plot, which I still don't understand. I don't want to go into that too much because I could rant about it for hours, but like, I don't think that this is a bad thing. I think this adds a little nuance into their world that I didn't really think about before. And that's where Feyre and Rhys's story were heading anyway. They were leading to children, dude. That's literally what Frost and Starlight was about. Fuck off. Most females die, the babes with them. There's no way of magic to help short of literally fracturing the female's pelvis.
So C-sections aren't a thing.
Which could kill it as well. Dude, if you like fucking break someone's pet, like that could the baby anyway.
And even if the baby survived, there goes the mother.
No, that's like very much a death sentence. This is extremely horrifying news to hear for anyone. And especially the way Cassian's describing it further cements my understanding of Rhys-Anne. Because the thing is, for not only him having to describe that to Feyre, like, yeah, short of, love of my life, short of fracturing your pelvis and basically killing you or cutting you open, there's no way to fix this.
Right.
I couldn't imagine him trying to say that to her, to explain it. Because, of course, it's Feyre. She'd want to have it explained. Like, why is this bad? Like,
give me all the details.
Give me it. And I can understand why he wouldn't want to tell her that.
I mean, while it's not fair to her either, it's technically not fair to Rhys to have to explain that. Because no one should have to tell their love.
No. And especially when they can't do anything about it.
And which we already know, Rhys hates not being able to do anything.
And again, we are also totally about choice as well. Like, I agree with you. And I agree with most of the fandom. I don't think that he should not tell her. He should tell her, but I understand the immediate trepidation of it.
And also, like, give me a month. Give me a month to try and figure something out.
To find another solution, and then I'll have to tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like Liesl said, a C-section is no-go. Again, let's remember, this is not a techno world. Like, they can't, even with magic has its limits, and I kind of appreciate that in a fantasy world. Where it's like, magic can't fix everything. Like, even though Rhys is powerful as fuck, there's nothing he can do about this. Like, in that, there's nothing he can do. So I appreciate the level of that there is a balance in this world and that nobody is fully powerful to where they could change everything. And that's what leads people into madness when they try to get more power.
Yeah.
So Nesta does bring that up. She's like, so even if Maj is there and staunching the bleeding, there's no way that could work. He's like, there is a very unlikely possibility, but more so one is going to die than the other.
Yeah.
Whether it's the baby or her, one of them is dying in this scenario. That is so he does say, a few do survive, but the labor is so brutal that many of them they either come close to death or are so altered by it they can't have another one. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like even afterward a healer can fix it.
Yeah, which is like, that's pretty bad damage.
Yeah. It's like the scar thing. Like, you can't fix that scar because it was such a terrible wound.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the mothers out there and to ours for having us. I'm like, that sounds scary as fuck.
Thank you, Mom, for bringing me into this world.
Thank you. So, and this is what I said to Liesl the other night, that I was like, this is crazy. Feyre is once again in this position, like she was in the first couple of books, where there is something that everybody knows that she doesn't. Like, Cassian says, everybody in this mountain, in Valaris, everybody, there is a common knowledge that if a high fae female is bearing an Illyrian child, that is a death sentence. And that is insane that she is once again, this is where my problem lies in, is that once again, she's in that situation where she doesn't know the full scope of anything and she's left in the dark.
And she's the only one left in the dark. Even Nesta is learning about this.
Which is crazy because her sisters have gotten the full crash course dummy guide to Prythian. They haven't really had a moment where they don't understand. Either someone has explained it to them, Feyre's explained it to them. Like I was saying, that it pisses me off that she's like, Feyre is actively trying to teach them things like, you're going to have a period every 2 months. It's going to be hell, don't go. And especially when they go into the bog later, don't go. She's trying to actively say, this is a bad place. You don't know where this place is. You've never been there. Like, I've been there multiple times. Like, she's trying to explain it, but
yeah.
She was the guinea pig, dude. She was the one that came in with no knowledge, and I still feel bad for her. her. That's
She's
terrible. Honestly, but you got Rhysand though, so
that's true. Except for when Rhysand keeps things from.
I know, but I'm not necessarily as mad about it as I used to be. I think
As long as he tells her like then a month, it'll be fine.
Right.
Any longer than that, and no, then you fucked up.
Now we're borderline. Yeah, Rhys needed, now Nesta understands, Rhys needed to fight his fear out, which is basically what they're all doing.
Yeah.
In their own way. So Nesta coming in with the knowledge though, she's like, wait, so are you gonna go to the Dawn Court because they have the Peregrines, or are you gonna go to like Miriam and Draken? Like they have children, the Seraphim. I'm just sitting there like,
she pays attention to winged warriors.
Shut the fuck. That is so crazy that she remembers that. I couldn't, like, dude, even I have people who have read this book series before where like, oh yeah.
Yeah, what about them?
And also the fact that she remembered that Miriam and Draken had children. I didn't even remember they had children. So I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, so during the war they just left their children back on just
sure.
like being babysit.
Honestly, like, of course they're not going to bring them.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how young they are, though. So it's like, so apparently guess where Rhys is headed tomorrow? He's going to Cortana to ask them about how she had Draken's children.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing, right? They're winged warriors. Like, the perfect person to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you survive, man?
Right.
And he will stop at nothing to spare her. And that's where my love of Rhysand is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Very much unlike her own father when his wife was dying, which like they used to, I think in the first book they were like, oh my god, their dad loved her so much that he was in a complete rut after she was gone. I don't agree, because she's basically saying that Rhys would go to the ends of the earth to find a way to save her, versus their father didn't try to save.
He could have used his many ships to go find a cure,
and he didn't. And it's like, that's what she likes about Rhysand. Even if Nesta doesn't like him, she appreciates his level of devotion. Also, hearing that your sister might die in a few months is not a nice thing to hear.
Even though, like, you're not the closest sisters ever. Like, still, that's like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
A family member's gonna die?
I will try scrying again.
Ooh.
Cassian's like, what the If the babe survived, Nesta would not allow him to be born into a world once more plagued into war.
See, she's gonna be a great auntie.
I love that so much, because even though we've like shit on Nesta in the past for like her shitty sistering skills,
mm-hmm.
they're still family.
Yeah.
And when push comes to shove, Nesta will rise to the occasion. Like, she hears this and she's like, no. I know what happened last night. This is different between the bartering for Elaine thing.
Yeah.
This is her being like, no, I gotta do this. And this isn't getting manipulated. This is like, he wasn't trying to manipulate her here. This was literally him just letting her know what was going on, and her making this, no, I'm not gonna sit back and let the world be plagued into war again and that baby be born in this. No.
Which I really appreciate. Like, she isn't necessarily close with her sisters right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't really been with Feyre, but like, just instinctually, she's like, well, she is good. She is like, this child, even like, I think if the baby wasn't related to her, it'd be less so, but like, this child related to me is going to be born. I don't want it to be into a bad world, because I've seen it as a bad world.
Yeah. And it's like, let's say she was, if we think about it, her being reborn as the Fae form, her initialness into this world was not the nice, well, I don't want to say nice, but like, Feyre had at least some time before shit hit the fan.
Right.
And then Nesta and Elaine were reborn into a war. So she's like, I don't want that baby to be born in that. Hell no. Respect. She would do anything. It's like, Cass is like, nope, Rhys, Azriel, and Amryn are all going to be there. Okay, I guess. I guess so.
Well, as long as you're there, Cassian, it's okay.
It's like, okay. I understand why he would want them to be there, because they didn't.
After last night?
Mm-hmm. Also, Amryn needs to be there. But I like how it's like, fine, okay, sit back. Why haven't you sought me out? Such a change in topic. And I'm sitting there like, wait, huh? What are you talking about? Oh. God, this shift is so wild. Damn, I can play at that game. Why haven't you sought me out?
Why haven't you sought me out?
I was like, because to be fair, he is like going off of her like thoughts. Like, if he didn't have to worry about how she felt about things, he would already be there.
Yeah.
He'd be in her room every night just being like, okay, do you want to like do things? Versus like, he needs some sort of initiation from her part to feel like he can do it.
Right.
Oh, this literally makes my heart sing. He's like, he is so worried that she hasn't sought him out because he thinks that he hurt her.
Oh.
When he fucked her mouth, obviously.
Right. It's like, she hasn't come looking for me because...
He's like, did I hurt you? I was like, oh no. And she has like such a haughty laugh. She's like, And I'm thinking to myself, no, that was hot as shit. That is, honestly, I had to step back a few so that I could recover from that. Not in a bad way. Sorry. I just, that actually is going to make me start crying if like, he's like, he thought he hurt. Oh. But then a quick shift. She's like, I liked it when you fucked my mouth. And he's like,
wait, what? Brain reset, recalculating.
Because she does the same thing she did the night before where she like stands up and walks. Also, are we not eating anymore?
Nope.
They haven't actually ate at this dining table in like last few, maybe breakfast. Okay, they had breakfast. All right. But they haven't actually had dinner again.
The one who eats at that dining table is Azrael.
Yes. Sorry, that was funny. The only one who eats there is Azrael. And dude, she's like, do you want to fuck me on the table?
Yes, but...
She scares him half to death. He's like, you want to do this now? Well, he's like, hell yeah. He's like, on the table, on the table, on the chair, everywhere in the house.
Against the wall,
Fuck off.
In your bedroom, in your bath.
Yeah.
In my bedroom, in my bath.
Why does that sound like a Dr. Seuss? Like, in the bedroom, in the house, in
the bedroom, in the bath.
Yes, Sam, I am. I don't like those green eggs and ham. So yeah, the house, honestly, fuck the house at this point. They've already done enough stuff. Like, they're like, oh, I don't know if the house would, like it if we, even though it's a romance reader, like us fucking on it in the house. I'm confused. But I love how it's so funny because, like, in the moment, Cassian's like, he's going with her, like, yeah, let's fuck everywhere on and then he goes, wait, what? To the romance reader line.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, what? Oh, never mind, babe. She kisses him on the corner of the mouth in a challenge. At first, I never understood in books what that was, and I was like, okay, I guess.
It's a tease.
Okay. To tempt him. But she's like, I'm not gonna bed someone who looks like this. I mean, obviously she's making it seem like it's a vain thing, but it's kind of been similar to how he wouldn't want to fuck her if she was her, which he does anyway. I have no interest in betting a male who looks like he's been in a tavern brawl. Okay. And all your times you've been to the tavern, bitch, you haven't like betted one of them who was in a tavern brawl at some point.
I feel like it was probably, first of all, if she didn't bet anyone that was in a brawl, it's like she was going to take someone home, they got in a brawl, she's like, never mind. Or it's like there's a tavern brawl about who gets to go home with her. Then she takes home the winner.
Oh my god, that'd be fucking home. She just starts like an underground fighting ring where it's like, okay, whoever wins at the end of the night, I get to take home.
Right, and it's like, whoever looks the best after the tavern brawl, I'll take home.
Bro goes, we can dim the lights.
Classic bro move.
Why is that a me move, actually?
Like, I don't care if you... No, but, like, you'd want to see his face, though.
It's like, no, the first time? Yes. We can dim the lights later. But she's like, no. He will be her reward for scrying successfully.
That's good.
I mean, now we know what they're going to do when they get back, so...
Yep.
At least we know that. Make a deal. All right. He's like, no, deal. Or so, because she says, you can fuck me anywhere in the house. Like, when you're...
tempting.
He's like, hell yeah. Sure.
He goes straight to Maja. And it's like, hey, can you make me look better?
Comes back already, like, all right, I'm healed. What the fuck happened to you? So, we get to, like, the next day, obviously, and we're in the river house again. Feyre is here. She was not on the list of people invited to this, but I'm gonna bet she insisted.
Very much.
And
she's kept in the dark about everything else. Rhys gotta let her in.
Rhys can't say no to her. But no one asked why she has this change of heart. Yeah. Because to them, I mean, obviously they understand, the boys knew she tried to scry. But it's like, wait, why is she so quickly...
Right, again, especially after that nightmare.
Wanting to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, no one says it.
Which, keep in mind, the nightmare was... yesterday.
Yes, it was very much recent.
It was 2 nights ago. She's had 1 day to recover, and she's doing it again.
I really felt in Nesta here where they're immediately all judging her as they walk in. Well, except for, I would assume Cassie and her favorite. Damn. The line where Nesta kind of gives a polite acknowledgement to Feyre, and the look of pure ecstasy on Feyre's face of like, oh my god, she did that, like she was nice to me for once, hit Nesta like a brick. Shit, am I not this polite to her ever that me doing this was like a revelation?
Right.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Wait, she's not frowning at me? And then Nesta's like, do I like never smile at her?
And yes, you are correct. You are mean most of the time to her.
Honestly, that was kind of similar to like Race's reaction at Starfall of like, wait, smile, you've never smiled at me.
Yeah. And so Race is kind of giving her the look over like, do you know? I bet he told you. She's like, I'm not going to say a word. And he's like, thank you. I like how he doesn't say good.
Yeah.
I feel like if he said that, I'd be a little bit more mad, but he's like, thank you. In an appreciative way. So we do find, so as she turns to Amryn, we finally get a little sneak peek of what was said on that river barge all those months ago at that big summer blowout yacht party that they had.
Big summer blowout. Woohoo. Big summer blowout.
Damn it. The words from months ago that Nessa had tried so hard to forget. You have become a pathetic waste of life.
Oof. Wow.
Obviously, I'm not surprised that Amryn said that, but I wonder why.
And also that kind of explains why they stopped being friends.
I would assume so, yes.
If a friend said that to me, well, fuck you too.
I wonder why she said that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. So, yeah, so Amryn's like, okay, so what happened last time? She's like, my mind kept circling itself, and very much like what is it? One of those, well, like the spiral staircase, but also like a parking garage. All she could think about was the fear. She couldn't really focus.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, it's kind of good that they're all here because they're ensuring that she knows that everyone's safe.
Yeah.
They're like, apparently Elaine is on lockdown. They don't know, they don't see her, she's not there, but like, Azrael has her, I love how you just rolled your eyes so hard. Azrael has his spies on her to make sure that she's okay. So, well, it's initially Feyre that's like, no harm will come to her. And it's Az that says, because she says something about eyes being blinded. And he said, not the ones that I command. We won't make the same mistake twice. And it's his sincerity that finally, I think, kind of calms her down. Like, okay, if he's protecting her, I feel like she's okay.
I don't ship it. But Azrael is a protector, regardless of that, so I do trust him too.
I mean, dude, I don't like it either. I bet she's like flirting with his shit.
I'm like, oh, you're cute. Here, come here. Let me catch you.
It's like, ew. Actually, please stop.
Please don't do that anymore. Leave his shadows alone. Your hands are filthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you touched Grayson.
But it's not only as a sincerity that, makes her feel like she can actually do this. It's Cassian. No one spoke through the weight of their gaze pressed on her. Cassian's warmth seeped into her side. She let the warmth, the rustle anchor her. He had come to save her from the nightmare. He would not let any harm come to her now. Like he will protect her. He won't let anything happen to her. So she keeps thinking in her head, no harm, no harm, no harm.
So this is kind of like an awkward moment, though, like awkward for the rest of the room of like Cassian's like pressed up against her side. And they're like, I mean, we kind of like figured something was going on at the house, but like.
This whole scene is awkward when it gets to a point of like, oh wait, y'all are still here? It's. So as she's seeping into him, she interlocks their fingers. Mm-hmm. A lifeline. So it's kind of crazy the way that this is explained. She says as she's like falling into like actually trying to find it, it says she's submerging into a pool. It's almost like every time she has to go scrying for something related to the cauldron, it has to always do with like her submerging. Mm-hmm. And so it's like she's submerging again, but she has a lifeline of Cassian that she feels, and then nothing. So she's like, okay, she's kind of drifting into this stone fluttering to the bottom of a pond is how she describes it. Mm-hmm. Where is the mask? Where is the dread trove? And dude, this is crazy. What does she hear? She hears the quote from the beginning of the book. When she was into the cauldron itself. In the beginning and in the end, there was darkness and nothing more. Huh.
Very nice.
Okay.
Makes sense. She's looking for a cauldron-made item.
Mm-hmm. She also feels like, I love how she describes it. She says, distantly like a candle in a window, she felt Cassian's hand tight around hers. That was the way back. Nothing could trap her or hold her if she had the way home. Now, what does that sound like? I immediately was thinking that sounded like the end of ACOTAR. It sounded like the link between Feyre and Rhys when she called the bond home.
Specifically, the fact that Feyre said she swam upwards towards it.
Exactly. Fucking exactly, dude. That's totally why. That's totally. Was she in this cauldron space?
Probably.
How much you gonna bet this is the same space she was in?
And she said it was like dark and cold and felt very heavy. But then she swam upwards because she felt a tugging. She felt a light. She swam upwards towards it.
That's a mate description right there. Again,
we thought it was a bargain bond with Feyre at the time.
But we know better now.
Yeah.
We know, but this has to be a mating bond. So then this, now for the whole rest of the scene, we're in Cassian's perspective, where time passes, nothing really happens, but then they have this phantom wind, and Nesta's hand goes ice cold. This is very much not like the time in Hybern, I'm gonna say. Like, it seemed like the Hybern one was easier, or at least was happening in her mind and not physically outside of it. Amber notices that it's like she's wandering, but she's also trying to find it. It's interesting that we don't get her perspective in this.
Yeah.
Like Nesta's perspective of what she's looking at.
Right.
She's looking for the mask, but her hand remains shut. So he's like, they see her because her eyes are kind of like moving underneath her lids. Like she's looking for it, but she's got like her hand so tight that like she's not letting go. Feyre tries to talk to her. She's like, Feyre and Nesta, open your hand.
Let go, Nesta.
Like, let go, like they were trying to do before. This time, this is bad. Feyre and Rhys both try to look, but to no avail. Her head is completely shut off.
Yeah.
The iron gates that they describe in her mind, they're not open. Unlike the other time in Hybern, where they were wide open, she shut them.
She didn't want anyone else seeing this, and I think it's also her own protection of whatever's in my mind, I don't want it getting out.
Remember how back in like Akamath, when Rhys said that you could like lock yourself in, you could lock somebody into your mind? It's like she's like doing that to herself.
Yeah.
She's locking anything from looking at them, but she's also locking herself in. And that's not good because
she's locking herself in with whatever's dangerous.
And they can't help her. Like Rhys and Feyre can't help her because they can't get through. Because as Amren puts it, her mind is guarded with something that no fairy magic can break. The essence of the cauldron itself.
You mean iron?
Yes. Nesta's hand tightens on Cass's, like, as in, like, oh shit. And he's like, get her out now. And Rhys is like, I can't, man.
She's in there.
But Cassian for the win! Dude, this is so awesome. It's like, no magic can break this. So what is Cassian, the one person that does not have magic like everybody else? Again, a very constant theme of that. Of him being able to get to her when normal, powerful Rhys cannot. So he starts talking to her.
Hey, come back. We gotta fuck later.
It's very sweet. Nesta, open your hand and come back.
Come back to me.
So at first, she's like, he's trying to talk to her. And then all of a sudden, I love how when she opens her eyes, and then it's like silver fire in it, but like it's constant, unlike before. And she slowly, and it's described like a puppet doll, slowly turns. I'm thinking like a very dramatic, that really horror look, and looks to Cassian. And I love this line. First of all, everyone is scared as shit. Rhys pushes Feyre behind him, and
Cassian is just like, well, I'm here anyway. I'm not getting anywhere.
Right?
I'm not going anywhere. If she attacks, I'm dead, but it's fine.
Death watched him, but Death had walked beside him every day of his life. So Cassian stroked his thumb along her palm and said, hello, Ness. Oh. He does not balk from how I literally just got so girlish right there on the couch. I literally was like, yay!
Kicking your feet.
Yeah. This is so beautiful. This is the essentialness of their romance. He does not fear her, but fears for her.
Yeah.
And that is the whole crux of it.
I think if I'm being like, trying to like be like realistic, I think there is a level, a very, very small level, where like his instinct is slightly scared of it because, like he says, like Nesta is death. But then it's also with what he said of he has walked beside death his whole life. He was basically, when he was thrown into the mud in the Illyrian camp, he was not expected to survive, but he did. He kept surviving. So it's like, while he may be scared of death instinctually, he's also accepted death. And in that way, when he sees death in Nesta's eyes, he's accepted death. He's accepted Nesta.
Right. And it's because he's not scared like other people are scared.
Yeah.
It's the same way that Feyre wasn't really scared of Rhys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she maybe was a little bit intimidated by the power at first, but she was never scared.
Right.
So it's very much the same way. And I just love the essentialness of their romance, and that's the crux of it, is that whilst others cannot handle her, he can.
Mm-hmm.
That he sees her even in her most rawest form.
Right.
And that's what makes the power balk. Like when he says that, he's like, "Hello, Nest." It literally says Nesta blinked, and the fire flickered. Yeah, here was what the bone carver was talking about, dude. This exalted creature that he was thinking she'd be. Let go of the stones and bones, and then you and I can play. So instead of, he covers up his fear of the situation so he just starts thinking about the other night. He's thinking about like how, the dick sucking scene. He makes her scent his arousal and need. And it warms, first of all, because this is described later by Rhysand, because she's cold, right? Because death is cold. He is warming her up. He is not using magic.
Yeah.
He is literally warming her up and the whole entire room by this.
Being like, hey, I'm really aroused right now. Like, you look hot, like, filled with death like this. You're really hot, so let's come back and we can play later,
But it's so, I know, like, you're making a joke, but, like, it is so romantic and,
it is,
essential to his feelings.
He is working with what he has. It's not some grand show of power for her. It's just giving himself to her wholly.
I know. And he leans in and kisses her. And, like, I mean, this isn't one of those, like, hot kisses. No. This is literally just her lips are cold and she's not really kissing him back.
He's kissing a puppet.
Yes. And yes, the others are just watching her make out and realizing halfway into the scene that they're still there was like, oh, yeah.
But also, like, imagine, like, Feyre, like, not hiding behind Rhys, forced behind Rhys. And, like, them just watching him, like, oh, that confirms our suspicions.
Well, and it's not like, it's very much unlike when Rhys and Feyre are kind of romantic in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been sweet, even before. Theirs is kind of like, oh, that's a choice.
That's a choice. Like, are you sure you should be doing that, Cass, with her?
I like how, when it describes that again, can I just say, SJM describing a tongue scene is kind of interesting because, like, she goes into so much detail and I'm just sitting here, I appreciate it. Why? Like,
she's just giving you a guide on how it happens.
Giving me a how-to guide so that when it happens to me, I can totally...
I read about this in a book once.
It's like, I've Frenched, though, so I know. But it says her mouth was covered in hoarfrost. And I'm sitting there like... so she's like hell freezing over, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely.
So the thing is, like, when their mouths fuse, like, she opens wider for him, so it's like she's slowly coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He is bringing her back by kissing her. True love's kiss works every time.
Yeah, bringing her back from death, literally.
Dude, that's kind of funny. I mean, that is very the romantic, very textbook, romance book thing that she'd have.
That point, I'm like, Cassie, maybe you should, like, put up your wing or something, like...
Because it kind of gets a little, like, odd.
Yeah. I will say I blushed a little bit at that scene just because of kind of a second... Just more so of a secondhand embarrassment. But then also, like, they're actually, like, doing that, like... Right now, that's kind of sweet though.
In front of people. Yeah. I don't think I got secondhand embarrassment from it. So that's interesting that you did. Because I don't mind making out in front of others.
I'm glad I haven't seen that. Because I'd get secondhand embarrassment.
I wouldn't make out in front of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So then of course it finally clinks onto she lets go and everything. And so at first they don't even look where it is. They're just looking at each other. Her blue-gray eyes are back.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, they look at each other and they're like, Nessa remembers, oh shit, where are we? And then like a slow look to everyone. Huh. And then I love how it's a double entendre. Amren's like, interesting. Because she's, I think she is saying that because of how Cassian got her out of that, but she's also looking at where the bones went.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Also interesting. I'm like, interesting. You brought her back. Interesting that you feel comfortable enough to like just kiss her in front of us.
And with no power. That was the thing.
True. It's almost like Nesta brought herself back because she wanted to be with Cassian.
Yeah, dude. I think Reese is the first one to say, like, oh, how did you get her out of that? The only thing I could think of, sex. Sex works every time.
Sex is the key.
Yeah. Nesta's isn't first love, or for what is it? True love's kiss works every time. Sex works every time for her.
First sex every time.
I love that. Eureka, it worked. So fucking another lore dump. I thought we knew everything in the middle, but obviously the middle has been so open-ended to this point. Like, of course, we wouldn't know everything in it.
Right. Under the Mountain was in the middle. Weaver's Cottage was in the middle. And then technically the kind of in the middle
woods.
Yeah, the woods.
The woods near the Weaver's Cottage, though. So we weren't, like, in a completely different
That's
place.
true. But it's like, so technically been in the middle 3 times as readers.
Mm-hmm. The Bog of Orid.
Ew.
First of all, a bog. Yeah. At first, I didn't really know what that was. It's very just swampy, honestly. So, hello, we get another interesting place. So, this is like apparently one of the 3 places that is actually mapped on this, and she explains why. So, Urid is mapped Under the Mountain and the Weaver's Cottage. Mm-hmm. That's it. There is no other thing mapped in this entire middle area, which is crazy. Amren, of course, giving us. I honestly love when Amren gives lore dumps because that is what her purpose is. She's literally like the ancient creature who knows all this shit. I understand why she's giving a lot. Yeah. Urid was a dumping ground for warriors to be put to rest in black water. I hate that, honestly. So at first it used to be like a holy ground, and then it just got filled with darkness and evil. Yeah. Filled with such evil, no one will venture there, and only the worst fairies are drawn to it. They say the water there flows into Under the Mountain, and the creatures who live in the bog have long used its underground waterways to travel through the middle, even to the mountains of its surrounding courts. Fuck. That is an unpacked theory thing right there. First of all, secret waterways. That is continuously something that I've seen. But also, that leads an interesting development to, like, what has been led from Under the Mountain into that bog. Right.
Or vice versa, what went from the bog into Under the Mountain. Did that happen during Amarantha's reign? Or...
I feel like those she makes it seem like those waterways have been there forever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm just also saying, like, when Amarantha's court was under the mountain, was there things going back and forth there? We don't know.
Or the fact that it could also get to the other surrounding courts is very dangerous. Yeah. That means that there's stuff that could be getting into the other courts they don't know about. Yeah. And so apparently, which is very stupid, but I think I can understand why, it is forbidden to map anything from the middle except vague landmarks. Mm-hmm. So and this is Reese who explains this. An ancient council of high lords, the middle is a place where wild magic still dwells and thrives and feeds. We respect it as its own entity and do not wish to provoke its wrath by revealing its mysteries. Mm-hmm. So they are literally saying this place is filled with so much untamed wild magic that if they even tried to map it, they could get backfired. Yeah. Like themselves physically.
Obliterated.
Which is kind of wild that can happen like that. Which, I'm just going to say right now, that means there's something to hide. Yeah.
There's something in the middle.
Yeah, dude. First of all, dangerous as fuck, but also, dude, that means that there's something to hide in there that we're not supposed to know about. Mm-hmm. And that they want something to be. I wonder if there's, like, someone hidden in there. Like a crazy monster entity.
Mm-hmm. Another Bryaxis type character.
Not necessarily in Urid, but in the middle itself.
Or like now that the Weaver's gone, is there another big monster that might pop up?
I think so. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking like underground. I'm thinking level of crazy creature.
Bryaxis level.
Mm. Very much more dangerous than
First
Bryaxis.
God. The OG First God.
Right. So obviously they're like, oh shit, we gotta go there. The mask is there. So they're leaving immediately. I was kind of shocked about that. I was like, oh, I thought they'd take a bit, but Feyre, like we said before, is like, Urid is dangerous. If you go there, you're gonna have to be armed to the teeth, and it's like, we will be. Nesta does not want to even know about Urid. She doesn't want to hear from Feyre about how dangerous this place is, because she's gonna lose her nerve. Which I can kind of understand when she frames it that. Like, you do need some sort of level of caution, but also, what is Feyre gonna tell her that, I mean, it's never like she's been to the bog.
It's also I think when I first read it, I misunderstood this of like, wait, Nesta's choosing to go? Why is she choosing to go? When it's like, no, she needs to go to be able to sense the mask when they get there.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to sense it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess we're leaving at breakfast, bitch. All right.
Nice.
Ready to go. Yeah, I didn't think we'd go to Urid right away, but I'm not upset that we do.
Hoorah.
So yes, the next day they're all in the foyer of the River House. Of course, it's everyone except Elaine. Yeah, we're not liking her at all.
I'm sorry. I know that like this may get old for our listeners about how much I dislike Elaine, and I would like to apologize about how consistently I dislike her.
She's just not seen. That gives me pause. What is she doing?
Right.
Like,
she does have her good moments. She does have her good things that she says. Just overall, I don't like her, but I apologize for anyone who does like her.
I think it's also because, like, I get a vibe. Like, it's not necessarily that I don't trust her.
I mean, I'm still sticking with my theory from, like, Echo War of, like, when she looked like she was going out of, like, oh, you guys are still here. Oops, I guess I'll go back to my room instead.
Oh, yeah, when
like,
they were leaving.
Thing. Well, no, when they had, like, the wind over them, when they were talking about the prison.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, I didn't realize you were here. I was sneaking out. Oh, she didn't say that. But anyway, so it's
what
like,
it felt like.
She's hiding something. Something's off. Anyway, we're not talking about Elaine. She is absent from this, so we do not talk about
I don't think we see her this whole time, this whole episode.
Good.
So obviously both Reese and Feyre are like, we should go with you, but obviously Feyre, fuck no, you're not going. And Reese is not going either because that could also endanger her.
It's like, okay, well, if I'm not going, you're not going. He's like, okay, cool.
It's like, so, okay, Cass, Nesta, and Azriel are the dream team.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team.
It's kind of sweet, though. I mean, obviously, like, it's kind of a sexual thing, but Cassian helps Nesta set up her weapons and her, her straps.
Reese getting Feyre ready to go to the Weaver all over again.
Exactly, yes.
So why don't we see Cassian kneeling?
I don't know. She didn't want to be too cliche and have it happen again. I kind of appreciate the comedy at first. Like, this is one of those other SJM things where, like, they're doing something dangerous, but, you know, Cassian is kind of the comic relief here. It's like, oh, you guys are mother henning. I do like how Nesta looks at Azriel like they could be allies that Smile seemed to say against Cassian's utter insanity. Oh, I mean, cute. I actually appreciate how Nesta's getting closer with Azriel than Feyre ever did.
Yes. That is, like, one of my favorite friendships. My favorite friendships would probably be Cassian and Feyre, and then Azriel and Nesta.
Because it's like, Feyre has a better relationship with Cassian as friend-like, and then Nesta is in the reverse of having a more friendship with...
They have a cute friendship, too. It's like, it's quiet, it's not, like, unnecessary things being said, but, like, they also have, like, a unspoken support for each other.
They fit for their personalities, which is why Feyre fits so much with Cassian as a friend, because she's very much the same way.
And it's like, I've been honestly dying to see more Cassian. I always die to see more Cassian. Dying to see more of Azriel interacting with Nesta.
And it's like, Cassian understands the danger they're in, but this is just another fucking Tuesday. Like, he doesn't need... He's walked into danger before, like...
They go on these kind of missions all the time.
Right. Apparently this one's a little bit more exciting than the other ones, but, yeah, this is... She will have... Ooh, this is the quote that kind of got me, though, that I kind of felt like, ooh, about. So Nesta's, like, looking up past the stairs. Elaine is still in her room, right? Elaine can make her own choice and had chosen to thoroughly shut the door on Nesta. Elaine was like a dog, loyal to whatever master kept her fed and in comfort.
Yep.
Holy shit, that's kind of accurate.
I agree. I agree.
Because she's very much like, okay...
Except she wasn't very loyal to Feyre at first, even though Feyre was the one that kept them fed.
But the thing is, Elaine was kinder to her than Nesta was.
That's true.
Like, she was kind of placating to her a lot.
That's true.
Versus Nesta wasn't, and then when Feyre was no longer around, she got closer to Nesta. And then when Nesta was protecting Elaine during Echo War, she was kind of placating to Nesta. But then now that Nesta's being mean to her, she's with Feyre again.
So wishy-washy.
But...
No, she's just very wishy-washy.
So, yeah, this is the first time Nesta's going into the middle. And what a first time, I might add.
Of course she's going to Urid first.
The one place that we've never been?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, no, you need me to go. Like, the bog is so big, you can't...
Which I, honestly, though, I do kind of appreciate that she's going somewhere new in this way. Because it's like we were saying previously, Feyre gave her advice on all of these things of like, I experienced this, so you gotta do this. Whereas, like, now it's like Nesta is having her own adventure, like not just following in Feyre's story.
Mm-hmm. I do appreciate though how Feyre does mention that the middle is like the most dangerous place, because when Rhys took her in the first in Akamath, he did not tell her how dangerous this place was.
So dumb.
Until afterward. But also they weren't in love then.
That's true.
So
well, she wasn't.
No. But it's better than being unprepared.
Yeah.
So Azriel's winnowing them to the bog, right? And Nesta brings up a point that Rhys brought up, which I don't know why again, the reason that we're over theorizing this book is because there's so many Easter eggs that SJM has in here that I was like, why is she bringing this up if this isn't going to happen?
Right.
So remember back when Rhys was explaining winnowing to Feyre in the second book, when he said that if she let go of him, that she would be stuck in the in-between.
Yeah.
That if you like
or sent somewhere random.
Well, even in that way, like, you wouldn't be, like, if you completely, because if you couldn't winnow yourself by the time she was, like, she would literally die and get stuck in the in-between.
Yeah.
Because there's no air there, or whatever. Yeah. And so she's, like, holding on to Azriel's hand for dear life. She's like, fuck, if I let go. It's almost like every time she winnows, there's a level of fear that if she even lets go, that she'll just die or end up in this in-between space.
I feel like it would be, and I have no idea if this is ever going to happen, but, like, if Nesta eventually, like, uses her power to learn how to winnow, like, I can just imagine her trying to winnow herself and being like, well, if I don't let go of my own hand, wait, what? Like, am I going to get stuck because I have no one to guide me?
Or what if the in-between space is the cauldron space?
Oh. What if she ends up liking the in-between space and just stays there?
No. I think somebody is going to eventually get stuck there. If that makes sense. Like, someone's going to get stuck in that in-between, but I don't know who. I don't think it's going to be a main character, but I think someone's going to get stuck.
It's going to be a side piece, just a side character.
A side piece.
Just a side character who gets lost.
So finally, we are in the bog, and it is hollow and dead. Literally no trees, there is no wind. Azriel winces from the oppressive air. Like, this place is so haunted and dead that, like, there is no life here. There's no animals, there's no bugs, there's no insects. The only things that live here are the creatures.
I mean, that's what, growing up, that's always what I thought a bog was. Like, just a dead swamp.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the definition of a bog is.
Because they're both very similar, you know, they're like wetlands, they're marshy. But, like, I've always thought, like, bog of having, like, you know, dead trees that are, like, all fallen over or, like, slanted and, you know, everything is very muted. There's maybe some grass here and there, but it's mostly just kept alive by the darker water. Whereas swamp is, like, swamp at least has tons of bugs. It's very, like...
Yeah.
Like swarming with bugs, and at least it has some greenery, it has some color. It's kind of how I have always defined, but
yeah.
Maybe we should look up what a bog actually is.
Also, if y'all know, tell us what a bog is, if you guys know as well. The water is also pure black, and she says it's different than the cauldron water, that it's worse, that it, like, looks like it was made of ink.
Ugh.
Like, you can't see anything at all in it.
Yeah.
What does it say? Even the cauldron's water hadn't been as solidly black. That, honestly, that is a big fear for most people. And I'm not going to say that's an irrational fear of mine, but I will say that that is a fear.
Thalassophobia.
Of not being, but not even just being able to see the water. Like, it's not even the deep end that scares me. It's the idea of just a solid black where I can't even see, not even just the deep end, but, like, see at all.
Yeah.
Would never. Honestly, in the sea is kind of the same way. Like, when you look at the sea from above, like, especially in, like, those dark blue waters, you can't really see what's underneath at first.
No.
And nope.
It's like those videos where it's like someone is like fishing and like they're pulling up their fish, and then within 2 seconds suddenly this giant shark is there, and it's like, where did this shark come from?
Oh, I know, that'd be fucking
like,
terrifying.
It is huge, and we didn't see it until it was at the surface, breaking the surface.
Exactly.
Or those giant groupers, those Goliath groupers, they're the same way. It's like, how does something so big hide like that?
And then just come up out of nowhere.
And then disappears again the moment it's like a foot under.
Well, especially with my color blindness, that would fuck me over hard. I wouldn't be able to see anything at all. Like, it'd actually be like biting me at that point. Like, I wouldn't even see it for 2 seconds before.
In its mouth.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy when they describe. Also, the fact that Azriel shudders is crazy because it's like, should the Shadow Singer of the Night Court winced? This is kind of nuts.
No, my boy is scared.
No.
He's showing fear.
Cassie, what a hellhole. Yeah, that's a way to describe it. I like how when the trees are explained, they're like jagged edges broken off.
Yeah.
Like leaving spears for the trunk. Like even the trees are dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, wait, they buried the dead here? Cassian's like, they didn't bury the dead. They're just in the lake. Like, they just let them go into the lake.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Also, ew. I will just say that, like, Nesta makes this joke about, not even just joke, but she's like, fuck that. Don't put me in the water. Like, burn me and throw my ashes onto the wind or something.
Yeah.
He's like, noted. Okay.
Yeah, don't put her in because also, like, when bodies are put in marshes, swamps, bogs, whatever, they decompose much slower.
And that's what they describe, and I'm kind of,
and they
hate
that
it.
in many wars. Like, just because they have so many bodies, they'd bury them near the marshes, and they just decompose much slower.
It's grody.
Grody. Here we go. Know your wetlands. A swamp is a wetland whose dominant vegetation is trees and woody plants. A marsh is a wetland with other forms of vegetation dominant. A fen is a wetland that is alkaline, which is a pH greater than 7. And then a bog or mire is a wetland that is acidic, with a pH less than 7.
Oh, so it's like acidic.
Yeah.
That's why there's no life in it.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Also, even if you just look at this picture, between swamp and bog, that's a big...
Oh, I mean, that looks very arid.
Yeah.
The
bog is very colorless, dry, acidic.
Well, the swamp is very green.
Yeah.
Looking. Don't we remember Shrek?
Get out of my swamp!
Also, this is a very evil place. I mean, They can feel that. They can feel that it's wrong. Very much like the prison. It is very much described very much like the prison, and that's very interesting to me. Because even Under the Mountain wasn't, described like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't described as inherently evil.
That's true.
But this place is.
So I feel though, with the prison, we thought that inherently evil was because of all the creatures that were there, that were locked away there. And so it's does that have something to do with the bog? Does the bog have creatures?
I mean, of course, Asriel, fuck that he brings this up, but also the fact that we immediately run into one. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I would be scared to death to know what creatures are in here, and she's just like, okay, now she's asking?
Yeah. She's like, oh, I'm actually here. Maybe I should ask a question.
It's like, you're asking this now. Okay. Things that hunt in the water and feast on flesh, Asriel says. And immediately Cassian's like, that's a kill. Lore dump, small lore dump. They are ancient creatures who haven't been seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The first true monsters of the Fae.
Lovely. So we've got the OG monster here, the Kelpie.
That is kind of crazy that they say the first true monster. Like the warped fairy that would eat people.
You want to know a little personal lore?
What?
So first of all, Kelpies, I always thought they were those horse creatures. The horse seal mixture creatures.
What they do describe that as what the humans know of.
So just a brief little thing here. My first girlfriend used to call herself Kelpie all the time. That was her username for all of her games. Whenever she had a tag name, it was Kelpie something something.
Ooh,
and so they often considered themselves a Kelpie. And so then when we get to this book, that's all I can think about of dodged a bullet with that one.
It's accurate now. Well, exes are normally not great, but yeah, my ex was a Kelpie. That's kind of funny. I
can kind of say that.
Honestly, yeah. Dude, I said it. You didn't have to say it.
They were a genuine person, but now after the fact, when there's of course at least a little bit of bitterness from being an ex.
Oh, I love the bitterness of being an ex. Don't even play me.
That is just my ex was a Kelpie. And especially here in the description here, that's okay, that's a different image of a Kelpie.
They described them as shapeshifters in the water, and I'm going to bring that up later, but that they lived in the lakes and waters and would lure people to their deaths. Well, first of all, they drowned them, and then they would eat. Yeah. And then the entrails would make it to shore. Holy fuck, how graphic this sequence of events is wild to me.
Yeah. So kind of the not eating them while they're alive is kind of, in a way, it's more brutal. I mean, of course, it's brutal of oh, I'm going to eat you while you're alive versus I'm going to drown you first and the drowning will be painful.
Mm-hmm. So they vanished hundreds of years before the boys were born. So that means a long time.
800 at least.
Basically, Cassian said that they're myth, that they don't really exist anymore, which I'm like, now that you say that, that means we're going to run into one. Okay, great.
Because Nesta, it's going to be Nesta.
Yes.
Course.
And I love how Az and Cass are, like, she says, okay, well, what if the mask is in the water, which I'm assuming it is, because most of this place is mostly water.
And even the land parts are soaked with water anyway.
And they're like, yeah, they're little islands, if anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess they're going to pull straws to go in the water. God, the fact that he's not scared about that, dude, that would fucking terrify me.
Yeah.
I would not be okay with that. So it's like, okay, Urid's beauty awaits, my lady. I appreciate the comedy at first.
He's trying.
Okay, so they're flying around Urid, trying to see if she can sense anything. Apparently, this is the worst place Cassian has been in 500 years.
Oof.
That's not good. That means literally even worse than the prison.
Yeah.
Do you think Urid was beautiful at some point? It makes me think it was.
It probably was.
Because why would people want to bury their warriors there if it wasn't beautiful at some point?
Right. But then the more they buried it, and probably they buried some big bad there that ended up tainting it, which made everything else worse.
And more drawn to it. Because they say that, like, they're drawn to Urid. The creatures are drawn to it. So there's something in there that's making it like that. Maybe the mask. Maybe now that they have the mask out, maybe, I'm not thinking that is, but, you know, what if it's not going to be evil anymore? I don't know. But I don't think the mask is inherently evil. I think it's kind of a neutral.
It's based on the wearer.
Like the cauldron is. And that very neutral, just
based
dead
on
space.
User.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much Nesta clinging to Cassian as they go on. Man, just keep your senses open. I like how he describes it that they can't even hear the wings. Like, they can't hear them flying because Urid is taking up the sound.
It does not echo.
Which is kind of crazy. Like, this place is so magic prone. This is where the untamed mild magic is coming in. They can understand.
Yeah.
So, some say witches dwell here. Not the human kind. The kind that used to be something else when their thirst for magic and power turned them into wretched creatures banished here by various High Lords. They also drink, human babies. Or like, not just human babies, but just normal kids. They drink young blood.
They drink the blood of.
How did that sound like?
You just said they drink human babies.
Well, I mean, that's what they do.
They drink the blood of human babies.
Yes.
They don't just drink babies.
Well, that's basically what they're doing.
I mean, yeah, it's just.
But I like how it's interesting because it's not like it's not like they need the young blood to eat. It's mostly to refill their magic because they've gained.
Yeah.
And so also he starts talking about it's almost like they're trying to fill time. Like, start talking to me so that I kind of forget where we are.
Yeah. Light
singers. Apparently they're very much like Kelpies. They lure you, but apparently they lure you with a friendly face that you've lost.
The siren.
That honestly reminds me of Avatar a little bit. The fucking swamp episode when Katara sees her mom.
Oh.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, if you guys are following along. It makes me, I mean, obviously she didn't get killed there, but I could imagine like her maybe seeing her mom and then fucking getting her face eaten off.
Oh. Okay.
Like, that's what a light singer reminds me of when it was described. I kind of agree with Nesta here. Why are these creatures just left here unattended like this? If they're so dangerous?
Like, well, they don't seem to want to leave.
So, Cassian kind of brings up an interesting point here. They're not... he puts it in a way that's really good. Their crimes are one of nature. Like, he's saying that the reason that these creatures aren't in the prison is because a Kelpie was made to do this. They're not doing a crime that's not of their own nature.
Right.
It's almost like kind of a, extreme version of Darwinism. Right. Where it's like, kill or be killed, but okay, well, the Kelpie was born this way, so
it's kind of like with lions killing antelopes or whatever. It's like lions were meant to kill. But versus, like, if a human killed, that's poaching.
Yeah, the circle of life, my man. Like, they're made to do that. So, and that's why, and he also brings up very interesting, like, if they tried to get rid of them, you might find yourself stuck in the middle. The magic can reroute it so that, like, it's causing you in a very much a similar way that a bond would fuck you over if you don't follow through with a deal, a bargain. It's like, if you try to kill these creatures that are made by nature is going to fight back.
Or you're going to become a part.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be stuck
and
here.
Die, basically.
Yeah.
So now it kind of the way he describes that makes so much more sense to me than how, they said before, or even in the Illyrian Mountains, that like stuff, but specifically in the middle, why they let things go unchecked. That makes so much more sense that I didn't before. So then, as they're talking, they end up in this mist, and then all of a sudden Nesta senses something. But when they turn around, Azrael has disappeared.
No, not my boy. Where'd he go?
Dude, that kind of scared everyone, I think.
Yeah.
It scared you?
Where's Azrael? Where'd he go? He wouldn't have just left without saying anything. Not in the bog.
Well, and the thing is, maybe he did say something, but the fact that they said that the magic stops from noise happening. So basically, I mean, this is kind of flash forwarding. Cassian finds out that Azrael got shot in the wing, and he got taken down. Now, there are some people that theorize, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't agree, but like that he did that to himself. Not the getting shot part, but that it's a part of the evil Azrael theory, which I don't agree with, but sometimes I agree with it and sometimes I don't, but like that's one of them that I don't
This
get.
fucking wing? You would never agree.
You're just like so mad.
I mean, even like if it was Cassian or another Illyrian, their fucking wings are their pride and joy, so even if you, God forbid, and I completely disagree, if he was evil, he would never concoct some sort of plan that damages his wings.
Because I think somebody is saying that like he helped those soldiers get there somehow, but I don't agree. Like I don't want to get into that because I don't agree. But if you want to hear us talk about it, sure. But
fuck that.
Azrael is gone, and so like basically what happened was Urid made it so that they didn't hear that he got shot. I'm going to assume that he screamed in pain.
Yeah.
when he went down.
When Reese was shot through the wings, he screamed out.
Yeah, so I'm not shocked about, but it's kind of, I mean, they already set up that Urid, I mean, you can't hear them fly.
That's gonna be rough though. Like if Azrael was flying behind them and then he got shot and started falling and he's like, watch out or whatever, they just kept flying.
Yeah, because it doesn't hear it. You don't hear it. So they kind of, Azrael, where is he? And then they do see his siphons. They follow where the siphons are, and he's fighting. The missing Autumn Court soldiers are in the bog of Urid. What the fuck? First of all, why are they there? Have they been there this whole time? I have so many questions.
They shot Azrael.
Well, yeah, assholes. Like, were they there the whole time? I wonder. I don't think they were.
I don't think so.
I don't think they were there the whole time.
Now, something would have killed them at this point if they were there the time.
Yeah, I think so. But how did they know they'd be there?
Because it's been months since they just...
And how did they know that they would be there at the same time? So anyway, because I want to go into that later when we get to that part. But now this is getting interesting. Why are they here? What are we doing? Why are they attacking? So Cassian doesn't want to leave Nesta into the fighting, so he protects her. He takes her to this like big tree that isn't jagged, puts her at the top of it, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? She's so mad at him. She's like, go back for him.
He's like, I had to put you down first. Go back for him. Go get him.
She hits him too. She's just like, what are you doing? He says, I know what every second costs me. That every second away from his brother costs him. Oh. Yeah, he's like, do not climb down no matter what you may see or hear. It's like, go. She would distract him.
Yeah, she would. He'd be worried that she'd be getting hurt the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Little did he know, leaving her there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna stay put.
So, it's just funny that he literally puts her in a tree. It's actually pretty romantic that he did that, though, because it did cost him time with his brother. So at first, he's not sure if these are the missing soldiers, just the Autumn Court, but damn, dude, Cassian does not stop killing when he sets down. He's like, did like Baron learn about our plans? Like, what's going on here? So Azrael did fend them off. And the reason that the Autumn Court soldiers are not dead because his power is reeling from the arrow in the wing.
Yeah.
And dude, he literally just like flies down, immediately starts killing everybody, and it's like, okay.
It's like, I'm here, brother.
Cassian killed and did not stop because he saw his injured wing.
Yeah.
Hot.
My poor baby.
I mean, compared to what happened in Highburn, this is like, this is easy. Easy chops. He's fine.
But still.
I know.
My poor Illyrian.
I feel like I have a hierarchy of like, oh, they are not as hurt as last time. They'll be fine.
Their wings are still mostly intact. It's just an arrow through it.
Yeah. Considering what a lot of them have done before, like, that's not too bad. So how long were they actually gone? Because it's interesting, like, later Cassian says that he was only gone for 30 minutes, but she almost, it's either one of those things where she is so frantic that she's worried about them that, like, really time didn't pass.
Yeah.
Or it's an Urid magic thing where it seems like it's been a really long time on her end when it hasn't been on their end.
Probably was only like 20 minutes on her end. But still, that's like 2/3 of the time.
I don't know. I feel like it's either just her freaking out or it felt like it was hours.
It also might have been that it's, I'm sorry. Going with what you're saying, yes. It probably did feel like much longer. One, because of maybe Urid's magic. Also because of her worry for Cassian makes her feel like it's going on much longer. She can't see them. She can't hear them. She's utterly alone. And then I feel like it also probably took her some time to climb down from the tree.
Yeah. I like how she describes it as a bear cub trying to make it down the branches.
Yeah.
Well, because she's also losing her grip on it.
I'm imagining a panda cub of just like tumbling and
I was like,
down.
I was imagining a sloth, dude. I was just thinking, and then her just like kind of falling out of nowhere, and then trying to hang on, one hook.
Yeah.
I mean, she was worried that Cassian was wounded like Hybrid. Obviously, he got wounded a lot. Like when she describes, like, okay, when he got wounded at Hybrid, when he got wounded during the battle, when he got wounded here, when he almost got gutted, I'm like, yeah, he's been hurt a lot.
He's a soldier. He's a warrior. He's kind of reckless when it comes to protecting those he cares about.
But I also understand her scaredness with this.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, she even says, oh, it's the Autumn Quarter Temple. Like, she's like, there'll be no problem for him, but she's still worried. I like how she says it's only a matter of time before it's stuck.
Yeah.
Where, like, his good luck would come to an end of not, falling too gravely. Yeah, it specifically says after so many brushes with death, it was only a matter of time until it stuck.
Yeah.
It's like, what if they both needed help? She couldn't endure sitting in a tree like a coward, not knowing if he lived. And she had magic. She's like, dude, yeah.
I have magic. I don't know how to use it, but I have it.
Even though she fucking forgot about that when she's... Nesta wants to do something, so she's active. I mean, this is very much growth right here, that she's actively wanting to go do so.
Yeah.
And it was Cassian's dead face she couldn't imagine. Like, obviously she's worried about both of them, but it's Cassian who she can't fathom dying.
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty there. Like, yes, I love you, Azrael. But if I was going to choose between a boy, for me, the choice is clear. But yours is different than mine. So...
I do understand it, though, of like, Azrael, you are my friend, but we're also not besties yet. And
you're not the love of my life.
Yeah. And Cassian, I've interacted with him on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's a great fuck, but
Oh, yeah, so it does take her some time to get out of the tree. And so she does make it to the bottom, into the mud. Miles of black, all she sees is just miles of water. That's kind of terrifying. Because even if something did pop out of it, which it does, but I'm saying even if she was still in the tree, I bet something still would have happened.
Yeah.
Even if she's still in the tree.
So who's to say something won't climb up the tree?
Or fly, I don't know. It could totally be another thing. Also, she's like, I wonder if there's some shallow water so I can make it to, like, the other side. And I'm like, I don't think there's any shallow water in this bitch. It doesn't look like it.
The semi-shallow water would be closer to the island, but that's not definite. That's not for sure.
If only she could grow wings and get over there like that. I wish. So she does bring up an interesting story about how apparently a cousin in her childhood died when a fairy took her down into the water. Her mother said the story. And I was like, could it been Kelpie? That some people do think it was. That, like, it actually did happen. Or was it one of the theory things where her mother was just saying stuff, but she knew about Kelpies, or she was like Fae and she knew.
When we heard that could definitely be true, like with our theories.
And she's just bringing up Fae culture out of nowhere, but that didn't actually happen to that person.
Right. Well, I think when we read this together my first time, I thought it was like a water wraith.
I feel like I do remember you saying that.
Yeah. Just because, like, of the whole, well, at this point when we were talking about it, I didn't know about the Kelp.
Well, that's true.
So, like, I didn't know, like, what it was, but, like, when we talked about the story, it's like, oh yeah, water wraith, like in the second book, how it talked about how people would get too close to the water and disappear.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why her mom made sure that she knew how to swim.
Yeah.
Which it's almost like I'm thinking in a sense of, if we're going with the Akatar theory lore, I wonder if her mother knew, like, in a very much like Elaine was, in a very foresighty, seer kind of way, where she knew at some point that a Kelpie would, or her Fae mother or whatever wanted her to be prepared.
Yeah, like, she's gonna need to know how to swim at some point. I don't know why, I don't know when, I don't know how. She's gonna have to know how to swim.
So that she can keep away from these creatures, because they're probably the most dangerous in Prythian. It seems.
Yeah, that we're fighting.
So, murdered by fairies, her mother had claimed. I saw her dragged into the river. Or her mother's own fear warped into something monstrous. I think it either happened and she knew about it, or it was what I was saying before.
Yeah.
So as Nesta approaches the water, dude, this is fucking epic. I love this so much. As she approaches the water, someone starts talking to her in her brain. A small, gentle female voice, wise and serene. Run, run, and do not look back.
Well, she doesn't have anywhere to run. Anyway,
first of all, this is not canon. I'm saying that's the mother right there. That is the mother Hela. The gentle, serene, wise voice, that has to be her. And the fact that this is the first time she's actively talking to her. I think we kind of got a hint of it in some of the previous chapters, especially in that scene where she heard something in the darkness of the library. I feel like that was her too, but like she wasn't actively hearing her.
Yeah.
It was more kind of like a whispery thing.
And it is a female voice, it says, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, what other gentle, wise female do we know that can speak into people's heads that we don't actually like recognize the voice of?
Well, she knows for sure that's the mother there. So like,
I'm like, oh, this familiar voice is speaking to me.
It's like, oh yeah, I know you. That is so fucking cool. I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, the mother actually, because this has never happened to Feyre.
Right.
Where someone has actively been trying to save her.
I think this might start to happen because she scried, because she like tapped into her cauldron powers again. Because she scried, it's like, oh, she awoke something.
Interesting. So yes, this scene plays out like a fucking horror movie, and I kind of dig it. I'm not usually like a horror person, but I think this, fits in a really fun way. Scary, but
yeah.
She doesn't run away. Like, she doesn't listen to this voice.
She doesn't know this person. She's not gonna listen.
Right. Also, like, just some random chick talking in my mind. That's kind of weird. I think at first she thinks it's like her inner conscience, but it's not.
Yeah.
I can just tell. So she, at first, the movie scene of like, she's looking at the reflection, because in the black water she can see herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks back because she hears like a rustle in the trees. And I was like, fuck, don't look away from the wall. She's going to get like throat clenched or something. And so there's no sign of Cassian. So then she looks back at the reflection and she sees night black eyes staring back instead of her eyes. Fucking creepy as shit. I'm like already weirded out by it.
Yeah.
So she immediately, chapter 34, stumbles back from the water and is like, dude, this is fucked up. And of course it's a Kelpie. Azrael had to bring it up and it had to happen. Of course. How crazy it looks in the description of it and the way it comes out of the water. Mm-hmm. It's like slowly coming out. Like at first it's like eyes and then all of a sudden like it gets slowly revealed over time. It's a humanoid male creature, narrow and long like a blade, black hair, almost described very much like the Weaver's hair was. Long dark black hair and black eyes. And okay. Have you guys ever heard of One Piece? That one character with a really long nose? What's his name again?
Uso.
That's actually what because it describes its nose as pointed and long.
Okay. So she has not gotten very far into One Piece yet, so I can't really say this. But there is another character that I think of that has a long, pointy nose that might be a better description.
Okay, well that's
but for now, you know Uso.
That's the one that I know for now.
Oh, poor Uso.
And it has a big mouth. Yeah. I hate how it's described because then it has like lips, sensuous lips. I'm like, ew.
Sensuous? Like not on this kind of monster?
No, I'm good.
No thanks.
So she's like slowly seeing it pop out. And it's like digging it's not like, it's almost like it's not standing on the island. It's crawling up it. And it looks very fucking, what is it? What is that one movie? The Shining? Very much like the girl coming out of the TV level of horror movie. Also, what a fucking it's like the, the bowels loosened line where Sarah used that for Feyre. She said like her bladder loosened, her lap becoming wet and warm.
So she pissed herself in fear.
Dude, honestly, accurate.
This strong character, Nesta, her instinct made her piss herself.
I don't think anyone would have done differently, I think. Yeah. This is where it really gets interesting. The creature sense it, like, is laughing at it, and it pauses. On all fours, smiling at her. And the voice talks again. His head cocked, sodden black hair sloshing with the movement, full of what seemed to be bogweeds, as if it heard the female voice.
Creepy.
Dude, if this Kelpie can hear the mother, that's kind of crazy. Because it does get brought up later, so I want to, like, save it for then. But just initially, it hears her. That is some fourth wall breaking to the extreme. This Kelpie is so old that it's almost like he could sense it.
Or maybe, like, because we've talked about in other theories that the mother maybe was, like, an actual physical person.
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, maybe this Kelpie was old enough to when the mother was an actual person.
And can sense her. Maybe not necessarily sense maybe what she's saying, but that she's talking. Because it starts talking in a foreign language. It's a language that Nesta can't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, later found out what it is, but she freezes in place. The fight or flight does not work.
No.
She freezes, forgets how to get the hell out of Dodge, and it literally drags her under the surface.
That
screaming.
is, like, even scarier of, like, this slowly, like, my body won't move away. It's grabbing onto my ankle. It's dragging me towards the water. I can't move.
With all this training, very much has a Feyre moment of the Weaver's Cottage where it's like, what do I do?
Dude, that reminds me of this documentary that I watched about orcas.
Dude, don't play with my orcas, man.
No, the thing was, it was like a seal that was lying on the, like, a ice cap type thing. And then the orcas, it was about the orcas, how they hunt. And how they, like, send, like, big waves to knock it off and stuff. And then the seal was just so tired at that point that its tail was still hanging off. The orca came up slowly, grabbed the tail, and just slowly dragged it in. And, you know, on the documentary, it was facing the seal's face. And the seal's face was just one of despair as it was dragged under the water.
Aww.
And I'm like, damn, that plays with my heart.
Badass, though.
So it's like, I think that to this now of just terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
I love orcas, by the way, for the audience. That's my favorite animal.
Yes. They're skilled, but they're also dangerous.
I love them. They're so cute. Talking about killing seals.
They're so cute when they killed the seals.
No, they're cute how they look. They're like pandas in the water.
Anyway.
You brought it up.
I know.
But then we get to Cassian's POV. So out of the missing soldiers that there were a dozen of, there are only 2 left. Literally everyone else
killed 10.
Is dead. But also self-defense, my man.
Yeah.
They
attacked first.
What is the survival of the fittest, dude? You lost. So something is wrong with the soldiers, and they keep bringing it up, and this is something that obviously is brought up more in chapter 37, but something is wrong with them. They're vacant and blank, and they smell like they haven't taken a bath in weeks.
Well, probably not. They've been missing for a long time.
But it seems like to me, it seems like mind control. It seems like their instinct to just kill, and their mission is sound. They were given a mission to hurt them, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And it is not fulfilled yet. So, like, it's almost like they don't sense the pain. Again, I still think, like, time is different at Urid. I think it's one of those things where it fucked up. Where she thought it felt like hours and they knew it was 30 minutes because Urid wanted to fuck with her. Now it's all of a sudden, shit, I left Nesta in a tree. And Cassian goes after her and she's not there.
Not in the tree that he left her. No. And he's like, no, I left her right here in this tree.
And it's like, when he screams Nesta, it devoured the sound. So you can't even hear echo. So even if she couldn't hear him. I mean, she's under the water, yeah, but, like, even if it would have just ate the sound up.
Those are like the sensory deprivation tanks, where it's like you make a sound and there's no reverb at all, so it doesn't echo. The sound literally just disappears.
Dang. So, of course, Nesta's getting traumatized all over again. Not only is she getting drowned again, but she's getting groped by like, it's taking her down, ending up in the water, and very much like Feyre, she forgets that she's got magic and or weapons and physical power. She's like, oh fuck, wait, I do have weapons.
But it's basically deciding to make her its wife first.
Which is so fucking weird. So she does take out the weapon, and blind in the darkness, she starts, like, stabbing at it. And it does get the arm of him, I'm gonna assume, Kelpie.
It said it's a male figure,
so obviously she's like, oh, I better make sure not to stab myself, actually. So she does start drowning. She actually starts physically drowning. But this is what fucking fucks me up, is that the Kelpie, I literally wrote in my notes, the Kelpie fucking what? It starts kissing her to make sure she keeps breathing. Like, it's forcing oxygen down her throat.
Which, logistically, that isn't, but...
I know it's not. This is where magic defies that, for sure.
And it's a Kelpie. Who knows? Maybe it can, like, through gills or something, give her oxygen.
Which doesn't make sense, because didn't it say, like, it wanted her... I mean, obviously, for what we find out that it's said later, but from what she knows, like, it was supposed to drown her and eat her.
But it wants to keep her alive for...
whatever purpose is it.
Certain purposes, and then kill her, and then eat her.
Yeah. So it's like, which it never really, at least from Azrael and Cass's description, it didn't seem like these creatures were very rape. But I guess that's just Nesta's love.
And it didn't really like talk about them being super intelligent either. Like it didn't talk about their smarts at all. But it's also like, lovely. This creature likes to play with its food.
It's just gross because how it's said is like apparently it has like a long tongue or something, and that it's tonguing her too when it's kissing her, and how she just is triggered by Thomas again.
Yeah.
How she gets like mentally triggered by that.
And then it's like scratching at like her mouth and
it's like it's touching her too, like touching her breasts, her waist. I'm like, dude, get the fuck off me. Also, what is it with these monsters and just being obsessed with Nesta? Like, I have no clue. Like the bone carver, this one, like what is it with them being obsessed with this power? It's crazy. I bet it can sense it.
I mean, the cauldron is where they all came from, so it's almost like this is home.
It's fucking the cauldron, I guess, but like even then that's weird.
Wait, what? Or what is the saying?
I don't even know what you're talking about. But it's just nasty. I also when she's getting dragged through the water, okay, this is where what you said earlier comes into play, and I literally almost gagged. I was like, so she's, because there's bones, there's people at the bottom of this lake, right? And that still some of them were fleshy. The way she describes them, I'm like, ew, Sarah, but also like that's cool, but also ew.
Yeah.
But
water does preserve bodies.
But she did let the Kelpie, kiss her a couple times to
just
give
so
her
she could breathe.
I very much, this scene is very similar to the wolf scene in Akamath in the Weaver's cottage, where she's like, she had escaped the monsters of the human realm only to find the same ones above the wall. That pleading female voice had faded as if whoever she was, knew no hope existed. Damn, the mother just yeeted out of there. She's like, nope, you're forever Kelpie bait, I guess.
Like, you didn't listen to me.
Which makes me think that the mask in the trove is different than her. She didn't know where it was. Because she wouldn't have just given up on her unless Nesta's seeing it.
Right.
But so she's freaking out as she's getting dragged along the bottom of this. I do appreciate though that she has at the bottom.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little bit better internally.
There's nothing
like that there's nothing underneath her.
Yeah.
But she pleads for anybody. No, it's not that one.
No.
Good cameo though. She pleads for anything for her magic to work. So at first she sees like a golden light. So it's almost, I don't think she thinks she's physically seeing it. Like she's mentally, oh, I'm going to reach for the magic. It's right there. But then she gets closer to it. It actually is a physical object. And at first it just looks like a disc power. But then she's like, oh, I know what this is.
What are the chances? She found it.
I mean, she did say when they were flying up above this area that she felt something.
Yeah.
So it kind of does make sense.
And it probably was like when she was in the water, it was drawn to her too.
Well, and also, if anything was guarding that thing, if the Kelpie was guarding it, you think the most powerful creature in that bog would be around it. It kind of would make sense that if this Kelpie is the strongest creature in this bog, it makes sense why it's near it.
Yeah.
Very much like it would in a normal fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes, but they have brought calls to like so much in these fucking chapters. At some point I wanted to just say, shut the fuck up, Feyre. Stop saying like calls to light.
She's mask.
God, what a nerd. Power to power. Power lay in her hand, death gripped her by the other. She knew with some clarity, knew what she had to risk. Kelpie slowed as if sensing her ship, but not fast enough. He couldn't stop her from slamming the mask on her face.
Without even knowing really anything about it. She's just like, hopefully this helps me.
Well, and you know what's kind of crazy is when she did this, I was like, I'm remembering what Amryn said. I was like, is everyone forgetting what Amryn said? Amryn said she could use it and or she could takeoff thing is a little bit different. I mean, as she describes later, but that she wouldn't be hurt by it or affected by it. So that didn't really surprise me. I mean, this is a badass scene, but like when they say later, like, why did you do that? Like, it was stupid. You literally said that she was fine using it.
Yeah. And honestly, she's dying here anyway. So
she needed to. This was a life or death situation. She did. And you know what's so sad? We immediately... Well, sorry. I'm a little ahead. I love how the Kelpie is scared shitless now. Lets her go, looks at what she has on and goes, he knows what that is. And he's like, uh-oh. And the way that this is so set up like a cinema scene. She did not feel pain and not require air. It's almost like she put this on and she's not drowning anymore.
She's not human. She's not mortal. She doesn't need anything. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would make sense because the mask. That would make sense because the mask brings back the dead in a way. Like it raises the dead. So it could be like she's dead in a way and bringing her back to life.
She's safe from death if she wears it, and she feels the souls of the dead around her. And the thing is, she can see because again, this is still black water,
Mm-hmm.
so now she can see the Kelpie with clarity
Mm-hmm.
when she's looking at it.
Gross.
Thousands of bodies, but she would not call thousands not yet.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck do you mean? Not yet. That means at some point she is going to. Dude, if they ever have to have a war and she has this, they're going to be unstoppable. I don't understand. Yeah. Like, she's got it. And the mask is talking to her very much like the book was talking to Pharaoh, like, home. It feels right. Her magic is calling to this power. So, like, it's not like how, Amryn described it before, that people would use this. They didn't have the power that was needed to actually use it with clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just they wanted power, so they wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want the power. I think that's the difference here. And that's why it calls to her.
She wanted to live.
Mm-hmm. And the bones of the dead start to attack it. Oh my god. That is very fucking scary, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Only Embrace letting its magic colder than her own and old flow into her veins. I love this very much. Though she fought back against Thomas, against the Cauldron, against the King of Hybern, that had all happened to her. She had survived, but she had been helpless and afraid. Not today. Today, she would happen to him. Badass. That is good. That is some progress. First of all, she's using her magic. Again, she didn't use necessarily the skills. I mean, she kind of used her weapon a little bit there, but that wasn't going to save her there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just wow. I'm going to happen to him today. I need to use that. So yeah, no, dude, all these high-faced skeletons are just like fucking it up. He screamed, but it was soundless, just as the dead were soundless.
And everything in the bog is soundless.
Mm-hmm. She knew he could see her teeth gleaming, knew the Kelpie could see her cold smile as she bade the dead to rip him to shreds. Wow. All right. And then the flashback to, oh my god, we have made this clear that this water, besides the Kelpie, is fucking dangerous as shit. Being in there is not good. Mm-hmm. Anything could come up and try to snag it. Obviously, Cassian's badass, but also he's in water that he doesn't know. He is waist deep in this black water, yelling for her. And it breaks my heart, but also it's so romantic.
Yeah.
He's trying, so Az is up in the flying with a busted wing, trying to overhead see. He can't see anything. Cassian is yelling for Nesta. Nesta.
Draw some kind of creature to you that way.
He had to find her or else he'd crumple up and die. So then Az lands in the water next to him and says, apparently they have been trying to message Rhys to get him here. To help them, but the messages aren't going through because obviously Urid is in this dead zone where, like, I mean, that happened with Feyre too. When she was there, like, she couldn't mind speak to anybody outside. So, oh, badass how this scene is. Look, Azriel's hand says. Golden light shone beneath. And then the spears broke the surface. Like a forest rising from the water, Urid's dead rise.
I just think of the Little Mermaid, the end of the Little Mermaid when Triton's soldiers come up.
Really? Oh, I guess I was thinking it more as like Atlantis. I was thinking sometimes in those movies where Atlantis rises from the dead, like rises from the depths.
I mean, yeah, I think we're in the same line because, like, with the Little Mermaid end of that, like, of course they're like lining up like with their spears coming up out of the water first. You know, grand entrance for King Triton. But
yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying. Like visually speaking, it's just I feel like this is more like towered instead of like individual people. Like because it talks about her like it's almost like she's on a pedestal because she's floating in the air, like she's not like standing on something. Mother save us. Azriel in undiluted terror.
Azriel's just terrified here.
He's just like, first of all, Az has never been afraid of Pharaoh. I'm just gonna let you know.
He's never really shown his fear before.
Every word emptied from Cassian's head as Nesta too emerged from the water. As if lifted on a pillar from beneath, a golden mask sat upon her face, primitive but embossed with whorls and patterns so ancient they lost all meaning. Her hair ripped for a braid, and clenched there the Kelpie's head in a scream face severed. Just like the King of Hybern.
What's with Nesta and severed head?
Severed. To be fair, she didn't sever this one.
That's true. She just ordered it to be severed.
She just ordered, yeah. Honestly, Nesta's power is so much like how she is in real life that it's like, okay, you do it. Only silver fire burned beyond the eyes of the mask.
Scary.
Holy shit. Cool. That is a wild picture. That there's so much fan art of that scene. As seen, what's so interesting about the end of this scene is that as seems to, so there's a big power, like it's almost like a big boom of wind power racing towards them. And while Az kind of buckles at it and winces at the power racing to them, Cassian is very much standing and is weathering it. He's not standing against it, he's standing with it. Because, like the quote that we had at the beginning, very much so. Because to stand against it would be to provoke the masked wrath. To stand against it would be to stand against death itself. And whether Az liked it or not, they were both Illyrian. And so they did what their people had always done before death's beautiful face, and they bowed.
As much as they could in the way sea water.
Right. And the fact that Cassian lifted his eyes and was the first one to look at Nesta, she shifts toward him, kind of realizing that it's him. And I'm going to make another Avatar reference because this is what I'm thinking of. Remember when Aang's in the Avatar state and like he kind of crumples to the ground after it's done? That's kind of how I think of this. Like, so she doesn't rip it off, but she takes the mask off, which we find out later was almost impossible to do. And so she stumbles, after she takes it off and her eyes are done glowing. And he catches her before she can drown in the water again. Yep. And it's back to her blue-gray eyes. And she's holding the mask like a doll. She's like clenching onto it. And she's freaking out. She's kind of shaking. But then his strength and his warmth, she's allowing herself to actually fall asleep in his arms.
She's like, oh, I recognize this warmth. I'm safe now.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal to be able to do that. Because she's scared, but also at the same time, she realizes it's Cassian and that nothing's going to happen to her. What an epic scene.
Yeah.
It's not that I mean, you never know what to expect from a Sarah book, but I don't think this is what I was imagining. Again, I knew their trials trying to find the Dread Trove would be kind of perilous, but I didn't think we'd get a whole new... I think the Kelpie thing added so much lore and so much possible theorizing that it just added so much to an element that I already thought. Why did the Kelpie here? And again, we get into it in this next chapter, but, I wondered all of those things.
Pretty badass.
I'm hot, honestly. Like,
ooh, hot.
There's really all I can say when I'm baffled by something.
Also, I am not just because Azrael's my boy, but I am genuinely curious about if the reason that he buckled and flinched away from the power was only because of the Illyrian's connection with the bowing before Lady Death. I feel like there's something else that made him, other than the rejection of I don't want to be.
I think it's two things. I think there's part of it where I think in the depth of it he doesn't accept himself as an Illyrian, or he doesn't like them some. I think there's the metaphor there, but I also think it's the metaphor that just Cassian cannot be hurt by her magic. I don't think that mates' power can hurt each other. So I think he also isn't buckling from that because her power doesn't hurt him.
Yeah.
And it hasn't so far. Especially when he jumped into the fire, with not being hurt at all.
Because he's not a threat to her.
The magic knows that whether or not she's conscious or not, knows that Cassian is not a threat and that she's in love with him. So I think it's also mostly that.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't buckle, because I think it's partially the Illyrian thing, but it's mostly because her power won't hurt him. So after this dramatic fall into Cassian's arms, we get into the last chapter, chapter 37, immediately starting in the Court of Nightmares, down in the depths where we've never been. Because the last time Amber and Nesta went together down into the bottom, we didn't get to see that. But also they weren't here.
Right.
So basically this is Azrael's torture chamber. I'm giving a pointed look at Liesl to see how she's reacting to this.
I definitely have a lot of Azrael highlights here, even though he's not even really mentioned that much.
He doesn't even talk at all.
He's ice cold focused right now.
It even is described as where Kier doesn't even dare to tread.
Yeah, no wonder he'd end up dying down there.
Yeah, no one comes... Azrael says... Well, they describe it as Azrael's place, but no one comes out alive of this place. Which, that means it's a death sentence. They describe it as this very dark room with a circular hole in the middle where bodies are dumped and there's creatures down at the bottom. They might imagine me of the alligator pits. Even though it's not I'm assuming it's worse than that.
Yeah. Oddly, I think of, what is it? The second time I'm mentioning Little Mermaid in this episode.
The eels?
Yeah, the eels in Little Mermaid, the beginning. So technically the third movie, but prelude. With the eels swimming in the darkness behind the grate. Like, kind of like making noises and stuff. I kind of imagine that. But as far as we know, only one person has ever come out of here, the Adder.
Oh, well, but then he was let go.
That's true. He was let go.
For
he didn't escape.
Yeah.
He was let go and did end up dying anyway.
Yeah, so basically the two soldiers are down here. Azrael with Truth Teller that is bloodied up. So everyone's here except for Nesta. I think this is also Feyre's first time down here. Like, she knows what Azrael does, but I think this is her first time seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And blood's dripping from Blood's dripping from the Autumn Court soldiers, and like the creatures are kind of like hissing at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cassian describes it as these beasts could be fed, and then in 10 years they'd be okay. Like, they could be sated for 10 years. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay.
So, like, literally like alligators.
Mm-hmm. Right. So Nesta's just sleeping in the Moonstone Palace, which I'm happy about. Like, oh, we're back to that place. I love the Moonstone Palace. I think it's so underrated as a place to go. Yeah.
We haven't seen it since Akamath.
Honestly, I think it's more beautiful than the House of Wind. But that's just, without the magic involved, I think it's more beautiful than the House of Wind. Aesthetically wise. But I wouldn't want to live over the Court of Nightmares, so that's the weight there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather live in Valaris, but I like the Moonstone Palace, but I don't like that it's above here.
You like put that over here.
Yeah, just if I'm gonna live in the Night Court, I want to live there. So the only reason he is leaving Nesta alone, leaving her side at all, is because the Moonstone Palace is warded, and that Rhys warded it to protect her. Mm-hmm. Which is the only reason, like, pointedly why he's not sitting by her bedside.
Right.
Obviously, like they said in the last chapter, not only is Nesta warded from, like, any danger, but Rhys separated them. He warded the mask in a separate room while she's just passed out in another room. Pointedly, like, away from each other, which we find out doesn't last in this chapter as well. But so then, of course, the Autumn Court soldiers do not seem at all fazed by their torture session. No. They are described as continually looking at Azrael and Cassian, almost like, to me, they were ordered to do something and they haven't fulfilled that order, so nothing is fazing them.
Right.
Besides that one thing.
They're just still staring, like, as if they were told to kill Cassian and Azrael. They're going to stare at their target.
And specifically them, not just in order of, like you said, yeah, killing them specifically. Because, like, when they look at Azrael and Amryn or Feyre, there is no... it's almost like they're not there. It's literally just them. So it had to have been, like, a very specific order of these two guys. Mm-hmm. Amryn, yes, obviously they seem to be under some sort of enchantment. When they looked into their minds, Rhys, he only found fog and mist, which definitely seems like... I mean, I didn't really think mind control, because I feel like if it was mind control, it would have been just...
the order. They'd be able to hear the order, maybe.
Yeah, or it'd be locked somehow. Like, their mind would be locked up instead of just a very foggy thing.
More like a brainwash. Like, they've been brainwashed.
It almost describes kind of like... It almost seems like it's very described in the way the bog is. Where, like, it could be the bog did this to them, but I think that's what she was trying to maybe push at first to kind of veer us off.
I mean, because they did question of, like, what we questioned is if the soldiers had been there the whole time that they'd been missing, the bog would have an effect on them. Mm-hmm. But they also probably would be dead at that point anyway.
Well, and also, like, Sarah, I love the cop-out, but also someone, even if, like, let's say that is true, someone sent them there in the first place. So who did that? Okay. Like, there's always another person behind it, so I don't think so. But Cassian says they fought with no intelligence, just to kill. Like, these are Eris's supposed best soldiers in the Autumn Court who, like, strategy, whatever. The fact that they just were very rabid is obviously not them at all. Very much Feyre sitting here, and we've said this episode again, but I'm gonna say it here. I hate how sometimes people in the fandom get a Feyre here, that only because maybe not in this instance, but I'm gonna call everyone out. It's how she's changed, how she's not as, like, remember we were talking about that motherly instinct of, like, why, this is how things are supposed to be, and everyone kind of just thinks she's lost a step. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think she's being the voice of reason here. Mm-hmm. How she's like, I understand we need to get information out of these guys, but if we know that they are mind controlled, are we any better doing this and torturing it out of them when nothing is going to get out of them?
Right. Like, what's the point of torturing them if they're not feeling anything, if the torture is not working on them?
Yeah, because even Reese, like, does a last attempt, like, okay, now are you guys gonna talk? And they don't. So what's the point in, like, hurting them more? Because maybe it's a thing where they can tell, like, they're, like, behind the mist, like, they're still there.
They're probably still feeling that pain, but they're not able to express it.
Right. So I love how she's the only one that's like, it's like, if that's how you want to justify it, but it's still fucked up, that we're doing this. It's actually when she tells that to Amryn, she's like, that's how you wish to justify it, then fine. Obviously all of them have been tortured at some point, so it's like, is this really necessary? So she's like, okay, let's call Helion, let's see if he can break the spell on them. Also, we're gonna see Helion again. I'm excited about that.
That bisexual flirt.
Not in this, obviously going to be with Nesta, I'm assuming, just because she's the one that got away. He does bring that up. But
yeah.
I mean, I agree with Feyre here. I think that they should let them go. Or at least keep them, but stop doing this. Because if it was them, they wouldn't want someone to torture them. Because she brings up, like, these people have families, you know. The only thing I do agree with the Inner Circle on is not telling Eris about this. Yeah. For now. Because only 2 of them survived and the rest are
12
dead. So imagine them saying, hey, we found your missing soldiers. Here's 2 of them.
Yeah. Only 6 of them survived. Like, well, what happened? We killed them?
It's like, I'm sorry.
Eris already doesn't have a good opinion of Cassian.
But he feels so bad.
Which we wouldn't know unless we were in his point of view.
I know. He's like, because especially when Feyre brought up the comment that they had family. It makes it worse because they were mind controlled. So it's like, even though it was self-defense, he does feel bad for it.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I remember how I had to tell all families after the war, and these families are probably suffering too now.
Every death had a weight, sent a ripple into the world, into time. He's feeling that, but then he looks at Azrael, who's just stone cold. He regretted what he'd done. He revealed no hint of it. I love how every time I say hot, you laugh at me, but like you're doing the exact same thing.
Hot, though.
But you see it on your face. You just, the people who can't see you don't know. But I know that's exactly what you're thinking.
I'm just thinking I have theories. It's also kind of like the thing of like, you know, they put up a mask, they like dive into whatever it is, the icy pit inside of them in order to have no emotions. And it's like, I think that's what he has to do.
However you want to justify it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, the way he like slices up the bad guys, that's like super hard.
I mean, you wouldn't be the first one to believe that in another book.
That makes me sound crazy though.
Well, that's why you don't say it.
Exactly. That's why I didn't say hot.
Well, you're welcome. I would say it.
So yours is more believable.
Well, anyway. So they all make their way up to the room with the mask in it, and unbeknownst to them, Nesta is just sitting there staring at it.
Reese is like, how the fuck did you get in?
He's just like, wait, first of all, I thought you were in bed. Second of all, like, yeah, how did you get in here? I warded it. First of all, Reese, you should have known from the other night. She can overpower you pretty easily, I think. So
that did nothing. And also, this is specifically the mask we're talking about, too.
The door was open.
Like, no, it wasn't.
It's like, no. It said, I mean, obviously the wards should have been impenetrable, but Nessa said she was called into the room and that the door was wide open. So, well, first of all, I love how when they all walk in, I mean, obviously it's Reese who walks in first, but then she's like looking around and then makes eye contact with Cassian, gives him a once-over to make sure that he's okay. And he's thinking in his mind, like, why are you giving me a once-over when you look like you got fucking mauled?
Like, you're all scraped up, you've got lacerations all over your body, your mouth looks like terrible. Well, as Amryn said, looks like a cat scratched you. Bad cat.
It's like, oh, but Cauldron, damn him, he couldn't stand the sight of one bruise on her. That's the one bruise trope.
Like, also, still the whole thing of like she didn't want to sleep with him because he was all injured. Well, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. But it's kind of like the same thing. Like she was worried about him.
I think that was just her excuse because she wanted to scry first and then have sex with him to feel like triumphant.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that was the only reason. Also, can I appreciate though how Amryn is very much like, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Why did you put it on? She said apparently those who have worn it before were never able to put it on. So, I mean, okay, this is where I kind of agree with Amryn here, where like before, okay, she could use it, and it wouldn't like physically hurt her. I mean, at first I didn't understand why she was mad, because I was like, okay, if you said she could use it and then wouldn't have a problem using it, then why were you worried?
And why didn't she explain this part later or earlier?
Yeah, it's like, okay, now thank you for telling me.
It's also, she's like, only a desperate fool would put that on. It's like, well, she was pretty desperate.
That's what it was. I was going to die otherwise. And it's like the price of the power. It makes sense. Yeah. If you put it on, like, you'll never stop feeling that way. But she legit said, okay, let go now. And she took it off. She just did it. They have, Feyre, shut the fuck up for 1 second though. She says like calls to like 5 times in this.
I know. First Rhys says it, so I'll give him that. But then he prompted it. And then it's like Feyre said it again or repeated it.
In this chapter, it's like 5 times, and I'm sitting there like, Sarah, I know, we get it. Do not say it too many times in a chapter. Jesus Christ.
Probably one of the things that said the most throughout the series.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like this mask can override really anyone else's power, especially because if it calls to Nesta like that, no matter who puts the ward up, then it's gonna find a way to get to her. So,
right.
Yeah, so Amryn does say the last person who put the mask on, they had to behead him.
Lovely.
So Rhys says others could not free themselves because the mask did not recognize their power. The mask rode them, not the other way around. So I love how he says like she was made from the same dark source. I'm like, Elaine was too. Let's not forget that. Yeah. I hated how he said it like in a way that's like, oh, like you're dark or something.
And Briellen.
Mm-hmm. So basically, that's what Azriel's new theory is that Briellen sent the soldiers there to find the mask in Urid. But my question is, which they don't ask, is how did she find it? Mm-hmm. How did she know where it was?
Like, unless she scried too.
But the thing is, I think, at least my understanding, was that she didn't have like the connection that Nesta had to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, she does have a connection to it, but not like the one Nesta had with power.
We don't know exactly what this connection is.
And I think that's what confused me, because I was like, I mean, yeah, you could say she just scried to figure it out, but I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. I think there's a spy. At least here, I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I'm pretty sure there's a spy in the Night Court. I don't know who it is, but I think there is. I have theory. Because how would they know most of this shit, though? Mm-hmm. And how did they know they would be there?
Right.
Like they just showed, unless like you said, your theory was right, that the Autumn Court soldiers were just there for 2 weeks. But I think they would have been killed at that point. I don't think they could have survived 2 weeks in
weren't they there for months?
No, it was only a few weeks. So they could not survive in Urid, though.
Yeah. I mean, Nesta was there for 30 minutes?
And almost got demolished, yeah. Nesta says it should be destroyed because of its fair.
I'm surprised no one else is trying to think. I mean, obviously they know, but
I appreciate, though, how she says that, because that just further cements how much she doesn't want this. Mm-hmm. And that the idea of it is too tempting.
And also, it kind of goes against what they're thinking of, oh, Nesta's super powerful, she'll hurt us all. And then it's Nesta's just, I don't want this fucking power.
I was like, please put it away from me. It's not her fault that they called to her. Right. I don't think any of them would have been able to combat that.
Right.
So Amryn says, of course, the trove cannot be destroyed, it can only be dealt with, because the cauldron would have to be destroyed, and then all High Lords and Feyre. I hated how she said that. Mm-hmm. By the way,
all High Lords
and Feyre. You mean all the High Lords and the lady?
Right, the High Lady. The one High Lady that we have. It would take all 7 High Lords and the new High Lady.
Amryn, please. I know. I'm shitting on her for a second, but I was just like, words are due. Use the words. But only if the cauldron were destroyed, and then all the High Lords and the lady would have to destroy with their combined magic. This is how powerful that thing is. Mm-hmm. Only if the cauldron was destroyed could they even destroy one of the items with all of their combined magic. Mm-hmm. So we're not destroying this. But I have a question. I wonder if Nesta could destroy it. If like calls to like, that her power could destroy it. I wonder.
Yeah.
Or maybe her and Elaine's bind magic. I don't know. I mean, I know you don't like that, but I
feel like that could go very badly wrong. Where they try and combine it. They think that they are able to destroy it, but Elaine snags it.
Okay, well, yeah,
that's painting her more as a villain. Mm-hmm. I just don't like the idea of them combined, because that seems like a recipe for disaster waiting.
Mm-hmm. It's we should dump it in the sea then. Well, I mean, that's kind of what they did. Now I understand why it was in Urid.
Yeah, right. Someone dumped it in there thinking it'd be better there than in the ocean.
Well, and yeah, so like it was definitely guarded by evil shit. It makes sense why it would be there. So that no one could be tempted or only somebody powerful enough could get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they need it. They need to have it so that no one else has it.
So they know where it is at all times.
Yeah.
Of like, no, it can't be the mask because we have the mask.
Right. And it can't wind up in enemy hands. Come on now. I don't know how to do those spells. Well, okay, so Feyre comes up with a good idea. She's like, oh, what if Nesta does the spell on the room?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that will,
So the one person that needs to be kept away from it at all costs
has to
will have the lock.
It would make sense.
Yeah, true.
And then I love how Nesta has a moment of truthness here. It's like she's been her truth. I mean, okay, this is one of those moments where like you can't put up a facade when you go through some shit like that. She lets her mask down because obviously she went through some things. And she's just her true self here. She lets it slip by accident. She's like, well, how could I do that? I failed at the most basic of spells that Amryn tried to teach me before. Yeah. I failed. First of all, she didn't fail at them. She didn't have time to do them. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. I do appreciate here how, the whole thing with Rhys has been like really bad, but it says here that Rhys's eyes softened as if realizing. He's like, oh, maybe I've been a little harsh.
And he saw into her mind the other night too. So it's like, he saw a little bit of it. Feyre says, is that what you think, Nesta, that you failed? Well, and then immediately puts the mask back up. I mean, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, when Helion comes, he'll help, contain her magic. And
he'll also flirt with you.
Probably. Yeah, it's like, considering that Nesta brushed off Helion's smoldering advances during the war, he might not be so inclined to help her. He'll help if only for another shot. Yeah, do you think that's going to deter him from wanting to talk to her? He's probably going to want to talk to her more.
Too bad she's already taken.
I just love how she like eye rolls. Because again, this is a High Lord. A very, very good looking, very cherished High Lord. So the fact that she's like, oh, that guy.
No thanks.
I don't know. I think that makes Cassian feel so much better.
Yeah.
That's a confidence boost.
Definitely.
Imagine your girl like, what the fuck, Chris Evans comes walking in the room and even though maybe she didn't know who he was and she just eye rolls like, whatever. But then is taken aback by your presence. Mm-hmm. That would be a confidence boost for sure. Yeah. Like, no doubt about it. And I love how when Cassian, in his point of view here, explains it, he's trying to make her laugh so she can seem human again. Because, again, it's not like he was necessarily intimidated or he wasn't fearful of her. He didn't like seeing her in her other form.
Right.
He wants to see her have some human moments. Mm-hmm. I love this line. You wear your heart for all to see, brother. You do too. Shut the fuck up. Don't even. They're both saying that. Azrael and Rhys are both saying that, which probably he is worse at it than them. Yeah. But come on. You both do the same thing. Stop. Yeah, the Amryn line. You look like a cat tried to eat your face off and you smell like swamp.
Well, that would make sense.
I mean, Cassian's like, yeah, getting dragged into a bog will do that to you.
Specifically by an ancient creature that was thought dead. Or legend or myth or whatever.
I like how he defends her a little bit because to be fair, Amryn did that before. Yeah. Like when Feyre came back from the Weaver, she's like, what the fuck happened? Yeah. And you smell terrible. Yeah, that would happen. That's just Amryn though. That's just true. She's trying to make comedy happen and maybe she's real, but I also do appreciate the awkwardness like before in the previous chapters where like they're having this moment in front of everybody. Cassian, like they're finally having this moment that they didn't before. I grew nervous when both of you.
Yeah, trying to use both of you. It's like, yeah, sure, she's slightly concerned for Azrael.
Both of you means really you.
Both of you, but mostly you.
I went to find you. The silence in the room was palpable. 30 minutes, and she'd been in a panic like that. We wouldn't have left you. I was like, I wasn't afraid of... I didn't think you left me. I thought you were dead. She'd been worried enough... Okay, he's not grinning, but I definitely feel like inwardly he's grinning of like, you were so worried enough that she was about to venture into Urid's peril for him. Oh, what a pickup line, but also what random to say that out in the world.
I would venture to the bog of Urid to save you.
That would get any D&D guy. I'm like, that would be hot to them. Yeah. If I said that to like a D&D nerd, it's like in a sexy, romantic like pickup line, I would go through the bog of Urid for you. It'd be like, all right, bedroom.
Which
I mean, that kind of does happen, yeah. And so here's where it gets really interesting. So, first of all, I didn't read, when I was going back to the actual plot at hand, it didn't appear as another form. When Cassian describes how a Kelpie is, it said that it was a shapeshifter. It didn't appear as another form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't try to snare her like it describes.
Mm-hmm.
It just is its plain form, which I was a little bit confused about because I was wondering if she'd see something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the thing was just, I don't know, knew that she was powerful, that like, or maybe it didn't work on her.
Mm-hmm. It probably didn't work on her.
Maybe it did try to like, or maybe it did like try to show her a different form, but she didn't see it, so she saw its true form.
Yeah.
That's more where I'm leaning towards.
Probably.
But Nesta shows what the Kelpie said, and Amren helps translate because, like, I don't think this is the same language, or it might be the Book of Breathings, the ancient language that only Amren could read. Apparently, this is the language of the ancient Fae. That it's very, I think it's all verbal. I think they're two different things. I don't think they're the same thing. They could be. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. But I'm pretty sure they're two different things.
And Reese said he only picked up a few words here and there.
Yeah, so it's like, apparently it's their ancient language from 15,000 years ago. So that's like when Amren just showed up. Mm-hmm. Amren's like fucking terrified. She's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Reese can speak the ancient language is a little hot. Okay.
Well, maybe not speak.
Well, that he can understand it. I mean, he's better than everyone else. In theory, how the fuck does he know that? Why was he taught that? Anyway.
He dabbled in the language.
So Amren says the Kelpie said, "Are you my sacrifice, sweet flesh? How pale and young you are. Tell me, are they resuming the sacrifices to the water once?" And here's where I didn't put two and two together, but the quote, dude. So when we hear, which we're thinking the mother talking, this is what he says. "No gods can save you. I shall take you, little beauty, and you shall be my bride before you are my supper." Holy fuck. That was just a confirmed god, dude. It just confirmed that was a god talking to her.
When I was rereading last night, I made a note. I said, so Reese and Amren didn't hear the voice speaking to Nesta in her mind, first of all.
No, they didn't hear the mother talking.
So it seems like Reese watched that scene, but he didn't hear the voice talking, which means only Nesta heard it.
Even retroactively, you couldn't hear it.
Even then, and then, I wrote, also the Kelpie seemingly heard the voice and called it a god as well.
I know. We both got it.
It's like, I don't write notes in my book often.
But I mean, that one I didn't pick up the first time. I was like, I know he said that, but I was like, okay, but if we reread the scene again, he talks, then she gets warned, and then he looks like he heard something, and then that's the first thing he says. It fits the formula. Yeah. So, first of all, that's just confirming it's a god. I don't know if that's the mother. It only seems like in this world, there's one god, the mother. So, I mean, I guess the cauldron could be considered a god, but I don't think so. So apparently, Amren gives them some more lore about the Kelpies and that they used them to appease the gods before. They would actually willingly sacrifice people so that the Kelpies wouldn't just murder children for no reason.
That's like just giving sacrifices of sacrifice to the water god to give us the rain.
I mean, honestly, I've been making her watch Supernatural. This is like a pagan god thing. Sacrificing, like the Scarecrow episode.
Oh yeah.
It was like appeasing the god for something, or to not have the children get taken. It kind of is.
Gross.
So the boys are kind of like, oh, so this must be, a Kelpie from a long ago. She's like, no. Kelpies don't reproduce and they just rape. That's all they do. They
rape, torture, and eat, and they don't reproduce.
Yeah, this isn't one of those where they take someone to bed and actually for the product of reproduce. So she's like, this is one of the first, or maybe one of the last ones that she probably just made the Kelpie thing existent. Probably the last one. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a stretch, but it'd be kind of badass if she killed the last one. Yeah. They were once made by a cruel god and deposited into the waters. Now I have questions. We only know about the mother. Are there more than one god in this world? Because it kind of seems like there is, but they're not mentioning it.
Yeah, because this other one seems cruel.
So many questions. Oh my god.
Unless it was one of the first gods, like how Lanthus was the god that all bogs descended from. So it could be some first god that the Kelpies were made from.
Right. It might, they might be. They might be considered the gods of their world. I could see that. I mean, this one seems very powerful, so it could have been done by an entity, but...
Yeah.
Before they can like push further about what happens, like, okay, babe, let's get you back to bed. He wants to stand up for his lady and get her back to her room because they're pushing a little bit. All right, Lady Death. She's like, it's not funny. It's like, well, I think it is kind of.
It's kind of accurate.
I like Lady Death. Literally, it's in the wiki too.
It's what?
That's just called Lady Death. Yeah, it's in the wiki.
It's official.
Yeah, it's in the. She's like, do you know how many names Aelin has off the record? There's so many. There's like 20 names on the wiki.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the wiki, but you've told me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You've told me at least like 12.
Yes,
but also. Like, this totally matches. You know, we've got Lady Death and Lord of Bloodshed.
I know. It's so...
Those two go hand in hand.
It's very romantic. I like that.
Bloodshed and death.
The names, not the idea. But I like how he would take her normal any day. It also shows his character of he's not drawn by power. He doesn't like her for her power. Very much like Feyre doesn't like Rhys for his power. Mm-hmm. It's more like, I like when they're human. Also, small vacation of Moonstone Palace. I don't mind.
They're just gonna relax there with the mask.
Yes. So she's in one of the rooms that Feyre was where they have one of those overlooking pools. Which
Infinity pool.
So badass, by the way. I really want to go to a place like this. She does feel a little bad because they said, okay, we're spending the night here, but she kind of wanted to go back to the house because she was thinking, oh, it's gonna fuss over her, and like she actually kind of wanted to go back to the house.
Give her more chocolate cake, maybe even slip in some wine.
But tonight you get wine after what you endured. Sure. I wonder if the house knows.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it hears at the wind too. Maybe it just knows.
Yeah, I mean, it is the house of wind.
Mm-hmm. Can I just tell you how much I love this, how this place is described again? So we're seeing it from Nessa's point of view. She's like, bathing pool, ribbons of stream, we get to see the mountains. Like, this place is like how Liesl's place looked in Colorado. Like, this Moonstone Palace is kind of that.
I grew up in the Moonstone Palace. I live in the Night Court and I grew up in the Moonstone Palace.
I mean, very much so.
My fun fact has upgraded.
Your place gives the cabin. It gives the cabin, the Moonstone Palace, and a little bit of the House of Wind in terms of how high up it is. Overlooking.
Yeah, the view.
So I would say that, for sure.
Sweet. I've got all of Rhys's houses. Now where's Rhys?
Where's Azriel to kind of just out of nowhere?
He's lingering in the shadows.
So she pampers herself. There's like a bunch of, soaps and shit, and, she has to do it a couple times because... Ew.
Yeah.
It's not even just the physicalness of, like, the bog itself. It's also, like, the mouth, like, oh.
Yeah.
The mouth rape that she had to deal with. Fucking.
It's like you just feel dirty.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna soak in here. So, the biggest thing in this big monologue that she has before is that the mask scared her more than the Kelpie did. Like, after the fact.
Yeah.
She was like, when she put it on, she had become something that did not need air to breathe, something that did not understand hate or love or fear or grief. The utter lack of feeling and how good it felt to be removed. Mm-hmm. She is so taken aback by this power because this is what she's been wanting to feel this whole time.
No.
She's been wanting to feel this void before she's actually been, having friends like Gwen and Emery and trying to process through her shit. This was what she wanted all those months ago.
She wanted
in the taverns. And the fact that she finally found something that could make her feel like that, and that it's a lure. It's almost like, she's in an AA thing where she, finds like the best bottle of liquor or something. It's very tempting because this is what I've always wanted, and now it's in front of me. But I'm not terrified it's the idea of wearing it and feeling content to do that forever.
Yeah.
I hate that idea. And I love how she goes through this. She would take the emotions any day because it felt too good to fall into the void.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
That sounds like a bad idea.
But I like how there's that temptation. And it has nothing to do with the power. It's literally just because it makes her feel more.
Right.
So... Who comes knocking at the door?
Someone's bringing her food.
I'm gonna laugh so much at the scene. I'm sorry, because I think it's so funny at the beginning. It's very comical. Cassian bringing her food because he knows that she doesn't want to interact with anybody.
Yeah, that's sweet.
He knows her, and she just lets him in. She knows it's him. Like, come in. She knows she's in the bath still. are in that pool naked.
Well, I feel like he didn't know because, like, when he looked at the bed, he's like, "Wait, where is she?"
Oh no, I know, but she knows.
Oh yeah,
she's letting him in, knowing
like,
that
I'm in the
she's
bath.
in
You
there.
can come on in.
Okay. How he is so fucking adorable. He is so adorable. He's like, oh, I could just imagine him bringing a tray, him looking very sheepish, going to the bed. Oh, wait, where is she? What? I heard her voice.
Uh-huh.
And then him going, make eye contact. Oh.
She's in the bath.
His eye shot to the sunken pool, and she could have sworn he almost dropped the tray.
Yeah.
He's like, you, me, dude. She is everything I wish to be if I flirted like this. I don't think if Cassian came into my bedroom and did that in an adorable way that I would. No. I'm gonna give myself agency. I feel like if at this point I knew that we were like interested in each other, this would totally be me.
But if you didn't, you'd be like,
No, I'd be scared. He would have the upper hand for sure. He just shakes he's like, I brought you dinner.
I brought you food. Would you like to eat?
She's like, I'll put it over there. I said, alrighty, I'll be, enjoy your bath. I'm gonna go now.
I'll be back to my own room.
Seeing Cassian so flustered pushed away the shadows in her heart.
Aww.
The line, do you want to get in? Girl, this is the most fucking awkward that we've seen him. And she's just like, want to jump in?
Want to join me?
Oh my God. What a proposition. Immediately, you're hurt. But something like pain washed over his features. Like, fuck, I can't do it. You're hurt, damn it.
I can't have you the way I want it.
No. So, with the biggest power move, I am so fucking hyped. The power move, the slow, she is sitting, right? Because this is like, I guess he's at eye level. I'm thinking this is more as a pool, because when I read it this time, I didn't realize how powerful a move this was. Of her slowly standing upright. Her hair is covering over herself. This is the first time he's ever seeing her naked. And I'm realizing that. This is the first time. And he is... Sorry, I need to
take a drink.
This life to drive away the mask. Okay, again, we're like covering this up. The real emotion with, okay, we're just using this for need, but obviously,
Cassian is the life and light.
Yes.
He is the light of your life.
She just slowly emerges out of the water, and he's just standing at the edge. She's like, okay, if he's not going to come to me, I'll go to him.
He just walks up those steps tauntingly slow.
But the thing is, like, because he's standing up, right? And it gets to a point where she gets above, like, where she's about to, like, go over the lip. I'm thinking, like, an actual, because she is at crotch level. His eyes are at crotch level. That is a cool move.
Wait, his eyes are at crotch level?
Yes! Because she's coming out of it, and then she's going down steps. That's how it's described. I didn't realize that the first time.
I thought she was going up the steps to get out of the pool, like the pool is sunk.
Yes, like, because it literally says...
Yeah, because I thought the pool is sunken, so when she's going up the steps to get out of the pool, then when she's at the edge when she gets out of the pool, then she's standing upright.
Okay, whatever. But I think it's a cool move to just kind of be like, okay, now I see it.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely looking down at her and seeing her sex, as it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it says. I thought you were dead today. So did I. You must have been happy. It did not make me happy.
They're just having this conversation as she's like revealing her body to him.
Mm-hmm. It's a power play. I wish this could be me. Just 500 years of strong Cassian will. Do you want to do this? Like, you're hurt. Do you want to do this? Yes. But she's always got to fucking ruin the mood. She's always got to ruin the mood. She's like, just sex. It can't be anything more, Cassian.
Like, first of all, she didn't have to add just sex. Then she did not have to add, it can't be anything more. Because, yeah, it fucking can.
God, she's gonna ruin it. But also very much like a Reese moment. He's like, I guess I'll take whatever I can get.
Whatever I can get.
Damn it.
Darn.
And I'll take you however you wish me. She's like, well, what if I want to ride you?
What if I want to take you? And he's like, well, then you can ride me into the sunset.
Ride me into oblivion. What the fuck? Okay, let's get into the actual sex.
Now that this is done.
There is no, the foreplay. There is, I'm just going to say this out loud. This scene took me aback. I was going to be taken aback, but this was probably the first time I've really hardcore blushed at a sex scene before. It was so raw, but also so very well thought out.
Very detailed.
It's the talking. I swear, it's the talking. Because the thing is, Reese and Veyra didn't really talk. It was very much just description.
That's true.
But he's like playing with her.
He's a talker.
That's too hot. I can't function. So it's like he gently reveals her hair. Words elude her. Words elude me. You're welcome. Do what you want. It's like it's nipple play, but it's also pain play that they're both doing. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah.
And I kind of love to see it because she did the same thing to him. Like, okay, do you like it hard? It's like, okay. She likes it hard. He likes dominating her. Stop it. This is my problem, is I'm so sorry, parents, because I know you've watched these. I need a dominating person. We've talked about this at length.
Yes.
That's why Cassian is, anyway. Cassian is just so amazing.
But also, he's very considerate about what he wants.
He is. It's not just like a dom, like BDSM thing. It's actually just a
soft dom.
Yes. He says because he wants to get it out of her. He's like, do you want to suck my dick again? He's like,
that sounds like what you want.
It's like, did you still taste me days later? Oh my God. You're making me like, this book is making me think of things that I guess I didn't think of before. I was like, would you really? I'm like, because I don't imagine,
Unless you brush your teeth.
I don't imagine if I could be eating something and just all of a sudden was just like, tastes like Cassian. I'm like, I don't know if like days later I'd be happy about that. I mean, if it was him, maybe, but I don't know.
Ew, tastes like Cassian. Wait, Cassian.
It makes me think practical things that is not really relevant, but also it makes me think like, wait, is that possible? But of course, he pitches her more. He's like, I want the answer out of you. And so then she just starts confessing. It's like a confessional. She's just like, yeah, I did. She's like, I thought about your cock in my mouth and like your fingers between my legs or you between my legs. And she just continuously keeps saying stuff. And she's like,
I thought of the way that you fucked my mouth while my hands were between my legs.
It's like, holy shit. I promised that you could fuck me wherever you wanted in the house.
I like the fact that like his face kind of falls here of like, wait, do I not get to fuck you then?
He's like, please don't tell me that you're taunting me. And well, because remember, didn't it say like, sorry, what am I thinking? It was like one of those things where she says, if I told him to stop now, he would. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, very much.
Even if it was like, even if he had his dick out and he was about to enter her, whatever, she said at any point, even if it pained him, he would leave.
Yeah.
If she said no, which is not something you could say to a lot of situations.
And they did kind of have that moment.
Yeah.
But it's very, like just his face fell of like, wait, are we, okay, I guess I can back off, but this will hurt me. But then she's like, but
this isn't the house.
So that means it's mine.
So does that mean like only he can choose where to fuck her in the house, but everywhere else is her domain?
Probably.
Because that's a power move for sure.
At least for this one, because she did say that he could fuck her anywhere. Like I read that as like a one-time thing, but like obviously they're gonna
do it multiple times,
fucking many times in the house. But like this first time in the house will be he can have control.
I feel like what's interesting is that I was like, has anyone fucked in the Moonstone Palace? Because like no one's really there. They're gonna break this place in.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, I don't care. As long as I get to fuck you in the house, I'm good.
Like, okay, yep, all good.
It's like, okay. Oh my God. Okay, again, guys, it's the descriptiveness of the scene of Sarah being like, okay, he touches her, feels it wet, and then tastes it. And she's just like, all right, we're going. Holy crap. I am literally, I feel my face red.
Red.
Feel it heated. I feel it heated so bad.
It is red.
So then they're just like they're like, they're kissing, da-da-da. And what a move on his part. He grabs her ass, pulls her up, and then flips her to the bed in missionary ? It's missionary at first, but then it turns. I'm looking at you because you know these positions more than I do.
Yeah, so when he flips her, pushes her onto the bed, and then he grabs her by her thighs and pulls her to the edge of the bed so he can have his way with her sex.
Please, God damn it.
I know, it's such a weird thing to call it.
What's so crazy is it's either the crass way of calling it a pussy or
Which I don't really like.
I don't like that either, but I will say that I've read it a lot. And
I still can't really get used to reading it or hearing it. But also, sex is also not that great either.
No, I just would say vagina. It's not sexy,
I've heard it as like heat or warmth a lot.
Warmth, it's just, I feel like, okay, heat's fine, but warmth I feel a little bit weird about.
Isn't warmth and heat the same?
I mean, warmth is like, it's a warm vagina. I don't think it's cold, but like,
that's true.
Oh my God. Anyway, so, oh God, like, so yes, he eats her out again. Holy fuck. Just the wings rising above. And he said, dragging up the center in a clean motion. I'm thinking like, wow.
Slurp.
Thank you. He was devouring her like a piece of chocolate.
Melting her in his mouth.
Oh my God. Also, are all these, okay, can I just have a question? Are all of these bad boys going to have the same line with their women?
Right?
He does. He says, did you like the sight of me kneeling before you?
We literally talked about that of like when she was getting all of her leathers and weapons on. It's like, oh, thank goodness, like Sarah didn't write the exact same scene. Well, he still said kneeling. It's just in a different context.
Yes, to be fair, the first one was very, like, it was sexual tension with Feyre and Rhys in the woods, but it wasn't this.
It was very sensual.
Do you like...
However, this is in the moment while he's eating her out of, like, do you like me kneeling before you?
He's like, she doesn't even fucking say anything. It's like, yeah.
She's like,
I hate you because that's exactly how you think I sound. And he's like, how do you want it? Like, she asked. She's like, hard. Well, fuck yeah.
And he's like, thank God.
He's like, thank the mother. Oh, God.
But he would do it soft if she asked for it soft.
Of course. It kind of does suck. So when he's about to like actually enter her, he's about to say something, which I'm assuming he's about to say something romantic.
Yeah.
And she stops it because she knows it almost seems like he was about to say, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it.
Or maybe he would also, on the other side, ruin the moment of like, are you okay? Like, did anything further happen with the Kelpie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would have.
No, not like that directly, but like something similar of like, are you okay?
It'd be something romantic that she couldn't handle, so she just kisses him to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually wonder what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And then the way that this is described, I'm actually pretty happy about. I mean, it's very sexual, but obviously, sorry, Jenny. He is too big for her. So when he's easing, so she wants it rough, right? But he's easing himself in. And he's trying to take his time.
She's like trying to pull him in.
It's funny. It's described as she grabs his ass and tries to like, come on, bitch. And he's like, Nesta, let me. It's the control thing that she can't handle. From before, like with her sexual escapades, like she was mostly in control, it seems, of the situation. I want it this way. I want it that way. You'll do it that way.
And she was just getting...
Yeah. Versus here, he doesn't want to hurt her and really doesn't want to make it unpleasant.
And he's like, I'll hurt you. And she's like, I don't care.
He's like, well, I do. The one up of the alpha dude. She's like, he's alphaing her and it's actually pretty good. I enjoy it. And I like how this scene is described because it's like, he does take his time. Oh, what did I say there? Yeah, I said it like, bitch, calm down. I'm trying to ease my way. So it's very much slowly fucked her at first. Nesta knew he'd been right to slow for their first joining. Well, yeah, that doesn't mean that they can't do it rough later.
Yeah.
A conquering war god. He had called her Lady Death and he was her sword.
Clearly.
So yes, he sets the pace. They're fucking. So she goes, dude, this was kind of also a power play. So she's like, okay, I want you deeper. So then she turns around, gets in doggy.
Well, first she stops him. And
okay.
This is the important because we mentioned it. She held up her hand and he froze immediately.
And that's where the section is of he would have stopped right there and then if that was the case.
It would have been extremely difficult.
Yeah, that would have been hard, but
since that was like what, maybe like 10 thrusts.
This scene is so much more graphic than all the other ones combined.
Yeah. Like
all the other sex scenes and all the other books, this one takes the cake, bro. This is crazy.
But she pulls back, she's like, I want you deeper. And just flips over.
But I appreciate the level of like smut is in here, but I also like the accuracy. Mm-hmm. Even though we don't really know if it's accurate.
Anyway, but you were right. Then she flips over into doggy.
At least I don't know if it's accurate.
Oh, like so.
Oh, but he was on her in an instant. It was like, okay, fuck the going easy. Like now we're going hard. This is where I was like, holy fuck, Sarah. I just wanted to bring up a couple of lines that I was like, literally red in the face. There's really nothing I can say. This is kind of hard to talk. His balls slapped across her and his seed ran down her legs, spilling down her legs forever. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow. Like, I actually feel heat radiating from my cheeks right now.
I know, to call it seed.
Well, and also to even mention, I mean, obviously they mentioned the cum beforehand. Like, they mentioned it in the last sexual encounter. Yeah. But to be so specific and to bring it up multiple times, not just once, multiple times, is like wild to me. Boys are gonna have a field day with this one when they get here. Oh God, that was, I know, too good. It felt too good, which crazy because if the mating bond would have snapped into place, it would have.
Right.
So I'm having doubts. Not doubts about their mating bond. I think so, but I'm
why
like,
didn't it pop up here?
Why?
Is it because it's just sex?
Maybe there's no emotion attached to it, and maybe that's why, like, at least on her end.
Yeah, at least not emotion she's letting herself feel.
He said, I made a mess of you. So she's lying there dead again.
Face
like,
buried in the blanket.
He's just staring at her. Like, he's kind of on his knees behind her on the bed, just staring at her. And I lost my place. It's very romantic. Because he's in her for a little bit longer, right? He doesn't pull out immediately. But it's what he says that really gets me. I shouldn't enjoy seeing that so much. I'm about to blush. You covered in me that beautiful sex of yours. No one has ever called it beautiful. It is. It's the most beautiful I'd ever seen.
And he's probably seen a lot of sex.
Okay, that is such a weird compliment. I'm not gonna lie. Like, saying it's the most beautiful I'd ever seen is like the equivalent of like a mate saying, yeah, like, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Because, like, this is his equivalent of what Reese and Thayer said to each other. Like, it's the most... That is a weird compliment. Because I don't think genitals look good on anybody. Like, they don't look beautiful. You know what I mean? I think what he's saying is the idea of it is beautiful because she's to him. I don't think, like...
Also as a male, as a kind of horny male.
Straight one, and very much.
Straight horny male. Also seeing any female's heat, like, covered in seed.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like, that's my seed right there.
I didn't know that was like a thing, that was hot to see.
Oh, yeah.
By a man. I didn't know that. Dude, I cannot, like, I have to say this. Like, I didn't know that. I have to be honest with the audience. Like, I was like, I didn't know. I am very ignorant to a lot of these things, but I am learning. Because it's so sad. Like, it's just sex. Like, he's utterly devastated. It's almost like she ruined that experience by him realizing, oh shit, like, there's no emotion to this on your end.
It's like, there's no emotion to this on your end. I can't stay here and keep going because we did it one time and just sex means I have to get out of here.
Because the thing is, if it wasn't just sex, he could stay and then maybe they'd have another round, like...
Because he would know that she has emotions and she wants it.
But I kind of get mad at her here, like...
Yes.
I'm a virgin, Nesta. Do you know what just sex means? Because I feel like I even know what that means more than you do.
Right. And she's like, well, I thought, like, maybe cuddles?
You don't... Okay, first of all, there are different levels. It's not... Okay, a one-night stand or just sex doesn't automatically mean that you don't cuddle, but it's not common.
Right.
Because that implies emotion.
Yes.
Tied to it. To cuddle afterwards.
Yeah, cuddles, just in general, cuddles means you feel some level of comfort, safety, trust.
What?
And what she does with him. But then also, like, some level of, like, I want to be close to this person.
Well, and just sex would have been like, just sex would have been something along the lines of maybe they would be in the same bed with each other, but like not cuddling. Like if we're thinking in a one night stand kind of way with just sex, no emotion. He gets his shit and leaves. He gets his clothes and leaves.
He knows if he stays there, he's going to go again or say something that they're not ready for.
Yeah, I'm mad that she thought that cuddling was going to happen. You literally were the one to ruin it by saying just sex, and that's what you get.
It's like, What, do you expect all those guys that you brought home from the bar to stay and cuddle with you? Is
I
that
mean,
what happened?
she kind of did, because they spent the night, didn't they?
Kind of, unless they were fucking all night.
I think that's like her implied.
Unwritten expectations.
That's like, she should have wrote that in your guys' like, your bargain bond with each other, which that's not what it's about, but I'm just saying.
I mean, like, just sex, but also cuddle. That means cuddle sock.
Also, I had to write in my notes, what a way to end part 1. Also, I did this to our parents.
Yes.
This is literally the section before we meet up with them. I did this to them. I did this to my father. I am so scared. He's going to die at this.
Yeah.
I mean, he already listened to it, but talking about it's going to be a fucking wild ride. It's going to be easier to talk to our moms about this. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, that's the end of the deep dive section.
So yes, apologies to our parents. Just cutting it off there, you know? Just their first sex scene and all that.
Their first sex scene.
Their first real
dead.
sex scene.
I'm dead.
That's an incredible real first time.
Talking down to them like we don't, like they know more than us. Like, I think they're a little bit more experienced than us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway, so sorry about that, but we'll continue very soon. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to our second section where we talk about the graphic audio. And I can only imagine what that last sex scene is. Tabi has a bajillion notes on it, but we'll have to get there. We have to get through the other chapters first.
I mean, that one's the longest one. I'm sorry. But then, like, the other ones are kind of short. So it'll be okay.
But anyway, so let's get into it. Take it away.
Oh my god. First of all, wow. Let's go back to chapter 30. Let's do this, guys. Okay. So this is all the way back to the dream, which feels like eons ago.
Mm-hmm.
I like how there's this big, huge melancholy music at the top. Like it's when she wakes up, because it's very sweet, but it's also very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that music at the top of her figuring out about her dream and stuff. And hearing John's voice when he was sleeping was kind of cute, because he was kind of like snoring a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was like, oh. I was like hearing him breathe. I was like, oh. And also the music at the top of the morning where they were where Emery and her were asking like what happened was very it was a little brighter. I liked the shift in like how we talked about in the deep dive, how it shifted from, you know, being kind of scary to, okay, like, you know what, I can talk about it at least a little bit. When John said, "Are you all right?" I internally died a little bit. He's like, because it was so soft, like, "Are you all right?" I was so, no. And then, obviously, as we transition into the scene with, the whole scene with Anthony and, Reese and Cass having to figure out about the wing thing was very hurting. Mm-hmm. I heard it in Anthony's voice. It sounded really raw, and it was a lot.
Broken.
Like, yes. Because there was at one point where the acting in the scene was really top notch, because there was one where he said, Ma just said the pregnancy was an elevated risk. An elevated risk. I liked how he played it.
Yeah.
He played the emotions of it too, and like the madness that it got into a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So then, of course, chapter 31, hearing beat up Cassian was kind of funny. He wasn't necessarily like talking like he had a busted lip, but he definitely was talking a little bit differently. And concerned Nesta was very cute. Like, she's just like, "What happened to you?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Their whole exchange there was very cute. But then I thought the music at the scrying attempt again was good. It was perilous, triumphant when they got to where they were all together. I want Reese, Amren, and Az there line. Hold on, I need to go back. When she gets up around to get up to Cassian, hold on. When she comes around to Cassian at the dinner table and she says, "I will try scrying again." It was good, but it was this perilous music. Mm-hmm. It was perilous at first, but it was a little triumphant at the end. It was very good. And then the bruteness of, I want Reese, Amren, and Az there. It's like the acting. I was like, okay, babe,
like,
okay.
We're not doing this alone.
Or it was like, there's no question here. We need them.
Yeah.
This hurt my heart so bad. John was so cute at the, like, why haven't you sought me out? He sounded like such a kid. Mm-hmm. And I was so sweet. And she's like, well, why didn't you? Natalie, I just love your guys' chemistry when it comes to him saying something soft and then being like, I liked when you fucked my mouth. And then it's like, I don't know if he knows what to do. The breathing at his scene, he's like, I want to do it on every room in the house. Like, he is like actively hyperventilating. Like, I want to do it. And then the line where he says, he's like, what? At the house line, where Nesta's saying about as it being a romance reader, he's going into it. It was very comical. He played it really well. He's like, yeah, what? Wait,
what?
He was like with the sex, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, you said something. Wait, what are you talking about?
What do you mean the house is a romance reader?
It's like, what did we? No, never mind about that. And so then, when they finally get together for the scrying scene, I like the music when Nesta sees Feyre, because she's kind of a little bit scared for her. Mm-hmm. So she wants to see her, but there's also a level of like making sure she's okay. But you can see that through the music. Mm-hmm. Of this trepidation that she's got. Also, the Azrael line at not the ones that I command. I'm like, okay, babe, okay. He was very stern there, and I liked. So when the scrying scene was done really well, like when you hear the wind, it's very cool. Like you could hear it throughout the entire scene. Like as they're trying to talk over, like when Feyre's trying to talk over, like we can't get through, da da da. Like it's still there. Like
that's cool.
The wind is underneath it talking. They're trying to talk over it. And you know how much I love a demanding Cassian. So I appreciate he's like, get her out, Reese, now. Yes, babe. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And when she opens her eyes in that scene, I love how her power sounds like lightning.
Like crackling?
Mm-hmm. It's like, so it wasn't necessarily like a fire sound, but it was very much like lightning. Obviously, when Amren's going into her whole thing about Urid, I like that it was very fantasy music, very D&D level of, okay, we're about to go to somewhere perilous, but we're also getting the back lore about it. It was very much that kind of music. So I appreciated that level of detail to that. So then, of course, chapter 32, I love a cute Cassian. I love how like cute as in when he's comical. When he's trying to make an impression. It's just like, I guess, she'll have 2 Illyrians guarding her. What could go wrong?
Well, what happens when the 2 Illyrians are not guarding her?
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, then that... Also, damn, the Elaine line was pretty brutal. That, like, she was a dog. The master line.
Yeah.
She hit it hard. She's like, Elaine was a dog, loyal to whatever master, like, kept her fed and comforted. It was very pointed.
Good.
I also loved the winnowing into Urid. Like, the immediate shift, the hollowness of the sound, the music, the scariness of this place, you felt it. And throughout the entire chapters where they're in Urid, there's a hollowness. You can't hear anything. They did that. Like, you can't hear, it sounds like they're in a fucking bubble.
Huh.
Like, no, well, the sound doesn't reverberate like that, but it almost sounds like they're in an airless place.
Right.
Like, there's no wind, there's no nothing. It's literally dead silent. And I liked the comedy at the beginning. I think they played it well. I didn't think that they overdid it, and I also don't think they underdid it to try to have comedy at the beginning. And I loved the music of the Kelpie monologue. It was very much was like a TV moment of, we know this is probably coming up, but the foreshadowing music, the menacing, cautious thing, we know this is going to happen. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be foreshadowed. And like I said, I love the detail of not being able to hear them fly. Like, that was in the text, and they did that.
We've always heard, like, when they're flying and someone's either being carried or flying, like, you hear the sound of the flapping wings.
And you can't.
That's weird.
And that's what makes it, that's what submerses you into, like, oh, it kind of makes sense why they didn't hear Azrael fall or hear him at all. I did like the banking noise, though, when he, like, banks to try to find Azrael. I liked this kind of sound. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, okay, we're banking. I love the moment with them at the, when she lets him know. She's like, Cassian! She sounded very much like, what are you doing to him? And the fact that she hits him, and I love it.
Cassian, what the fuck are you doing here?
It's just like, why are you letting, just let me go. Like, go help him. Yeah. And there was very much this action music when it was Cassian's POV. Because again, no words are said. But there's this actiony drum music of, okay, he's coming.
He's on his way.
Be careful. And just, the Kelpie scene, I didn't know how they would do it, but they were spot on. The eerie horror music as she's trying to, make her way down the tree. And it's just, I loved the way Colleen narrated it about the whole scene, actually. How it got from, like, this very, like, okay, I'm feeling curled up right now, to, she had music, and she had magic, but she didn't know how to use it. Right. Like, Colleen emphasized it like I just did. And I like how, before she sees the Kelpie, at some point, all the sound cuts off, music and everything, and it's just Colleen speaking. And you hear this kind of like the rumbling of the woods, or sorry, like the bushes or whatever. And then just a very much a horror movie, like Ace jump scare is coming. And then she sees two black eyes, and then big music like coming at you, and I'm like, okay, now this sounds like a movie. I'm a movie in your mind. But I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Hearing Nesta dragged off was pretty hard. Like, you could hear like and then her trying to grab for something, and then her also, and then what it was when she got finally dragged under, like the choking of the water, like that was a bad way of doing it, but I mean, it was like, okay, she was on land and all of a sudden she was yelling, and then you could tell that she was underwater at some point. Like,
It was very muted.
The breathing of panic, that was bad. Yeah, when she like pissed herself, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was, she's like, she's hyperventilating for sure.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then chapter 35, when she's finally like dragged under the water, like you could hear they're underwater the whole time, so you hear the water and the gurgling and struggling, and top with the tense music.
Mm-hmm.
The Kelpie thing, you couldn't really hear. I mean, good. It's not like they went into detail about that, what that sound would be like.
Yeah.
But you did feel the kind of like of him putting the water, the oxygen in her. But it's not like you could hear this like slurps thing or whatever.
Good.
That would be gross.
Yeah.
The power music, when she finally like puts the mask on and like she feels for it, it's like this, I don't want to say home music, that sounds weird, but like it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt like a good music to use, and it got me hyped. I was sitting there like, oh, okay, I'm digging this. I'm
like
listening to
major
this.
and powerful.
Yes. And Colleen immediately shifted her narration and tone when she put the mask on. As soon as chapter 36 hits, her tone turns into this very powerful, like instead of this scared person, it's very, I didn't need to breathe or eat. Like it's a very queenly narration. On the line where she said, I'm not going to raise thousands, not yet. I like how it was pointed, it very much gave a Hamilton vibe of the not yet line during one of the songs. If you know, you know. I liked the today she would happen to him. That was a very good line delivered.
That's a powerful line.
Colleen did that really well because it was, everything had happened to her. Today, she would happen to him. I liked that. The Kelpie struggling was kind of funny to listen to. I know it's supposed to be like an actual badass scene, but him just being like, like at the, like getting attacked was actually pretty funny to me. And I loved the transition music from this triumphant music to her attacking it to the anxious music of Cassie, Nesta!
Right, yeah.
I liked the transition between those because he's like, he doesn't know what's going on. Your boy Azrael as saying, Mother save us all was very, I think that's the most I've ever heard him. He was like, Mother save us all. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, very much Twilight music at the end. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I listened to it and I was like, this sounds like Twilight. This epicness of the, her holding the head up and then her collapsing into his arms. It was very Twilight. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain that, but if you know, you know, like, that's what I thought of. Also, chapter 36 was the end of part 1 of the graphic audio.
So you had your dad start at the beginning of part 2 and just end there?
Added the sex scene? Yes, I did.
Poor man.
He literally, what is it, 39 minutes in to the first part of part 2?
So cruel.
I know, I'm a bitch. But chapter 37, my longest notes, but we're almost done. This is my favorite start to any graphic audio to date. I've listened to 35 graphic audios, and this is my favorite one to start out. As Colleen is saying, Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. There is a hollow sound under the intro of her saying, like, this is part 1 of graphic audios by Sarah J. Like, that part, you heard Court of Nightmares. It's like it was so much like a movie that it blew my mind. We are going into the depths of the hewn city. If you read the book, you did, but especially as somebody listening to the first time, it probably was epic. Where are we? What's happening?
I guess I can kind of imagine, like, the way that you're describing it here, like the echoes of a cave, water dripping somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And it was like that. It was like, oh shit, where are we? And then this very epicness of this is part of the Court of Nightmares where no one treaded to go. It was I think it was probably to date, probably the best place that any graphic audio has stopped for me. And started back up again. Because I didn't even take that as an epic transition, but it made it into one. And I appreciated that. Especially during Feyre in this beginning scene when she was coming out a little bit, like her sharpness about this decision. It felt like the old her a lot. So Because especially in this book, she's been very matronly and sounded very much like that. Mm-hmm. But in this scene, she sounded very much like the old Feyre to me. So I was like, if anything, I appreciated her more in this scene. I like how there is a point I didn't say this in the deep dive, but that there was a section where Cassian brought up about how it indicated that Rhys and Feyre were mind speaking to each other. Mm-hmm. There was like a tingly. There was like a thing to indicate that they were talking to each other in the sound design, and I was like, oh, but not like so out of place. It felt pretty good to put it in there. I had to give in the one like calls to like. Rhys-Anne, bro. It's almost like Anthony was sick of saying it. He was like, like calls to like.
It's like, I'm tired of this being true.
I'm tired of saying this line. And I loved, honestly, Anthony, I loved Rhys-Anne's line of, you wear your heart for all to see, brother. I loved it. It was so sweet. So when Nesta and Cassian are having their moment of like, you died, you both of you. I liked how they were tripping on their words. Like, it was very much like, oh, I didn't mean to say you, but I'm saying you. Like, oh my goodness. The hollowness sound of Nesta's monologue before the sex scene, when she's talking about all these important things, I liked how it was hollow. Like, there wasn't really much music, but it was very much just the narration and some sound effects. Yeah. I liked how it felt like that, because she kind of was feeling that was the transition into feeling, oh, what happened to me with Maas, to Jen transitioning into this very upbeat, musical, triumphant sex scene. Yeah. Felt really good. All right. Okay. John, oh my gosh. Cute, playful. I loved it. Whole thing. I loved him. Like, I'm gonna go now. And then she's like, do you want to get in? The depth, it's almost like she went down an octave. Natalie went down an octave to say that. Do you want to get in? Me? Playfulness? And the rawness of when Cassian says, I thought you were dead today. Oh. And it's like, I thought you were too. It was so raw. Mm-hmm. And it was so emotionless, or so emotion packed, that when she says, just sex. It can't be anything more than sex, Cassian. Then I'll take whatever you give me. It was so cute, but also like, fuck, why do we have to keep playing this game? God damn it.
Also, Nesta, you can't be upset at the rules that you made.
Yep, no, you can't be.
You cock-blocked yourself there.
The laugh at when John says, I can't do all the things I want in one night to you. I'm like,
and she told him to try.
I was laughing so hard. I was like, okay. And the moment where he says, did you taste me later? And demands answers. Holy crap, that scene. Like, I was like sitting there. I feel unwell. Like, I feel unwell. Even Nesta here can't help but tell the truth. I'm sitting there like, I want to be in this confessional. Also, there was this very elegant piano music when he ate her out. Like, very much this just like...
mood setter.
And I was actually like, how do you want it? Thank the mother.
Oh.
It was very like, honestly, it was very breathing centrally. How do you want it? Thank the mother. Like, it was very boyish, very guy-like.
Yeah.
And then he said the very much the Nesta, like, I'll hurt you. It's like, let me do this. He's taking control there, but not like in a very demanding way. Nesta. Mm-hmm. Like, calm down.
Chill out.
Probably no one has tried to calm her down like that before. The breasts and the moans were all on point. I didn't say that throughout the entire thing, but yeah, it was. Like, at every point, I was even, like, getting red. It's like, oh, God. They went all in. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that scene is very much an all-in thing, and they went in. Yeah, the music at the actual sex was good. I mean, it was very, like, demanding and fast-paced and, oh, gods, LOL. Like, it was, every time they said, oh, gods, like, there was, like, a very triumphant climax at that point. And then the end. I think the end actually made me more blushed than the rest.
Yeah, more flustered.
Because he just goes, he went down a couple octaves, I think. He had to have. Because he said, I made a mess of you. And then he's like, you covered in me. Girl. I'm so thankful that we talked to John for this. I will say this 1,000 times. I'm so glad we talked to you before this shit. Because I don't know if I could have looked at him in the eyes imagining him saying, you covered in me.
I mean, but you had already listened for it.
Yeah, but I didn't forget. But I didn't forget. But now I'm remembered. It was not in a deep dive sense where I have to talk about it in front of an audience. And then she sounded so sad about just sex. She's like, well, she very much sounded like you did. Like, well, I thought there would be, something. No, it's not.
You did this to yourself.
You did this to yourself and fucking own it. So, wow.
That's intense.
There was so many moments in it. Please listen to the graphic audio, but if you can't handle something like this might not be the one for you.
Just be careful.
Just be careful. But this was such a jam-packed few. What a good part to end before we talk to our parents, because there's a lot to talk about. A lot of lore and a lot of moments. I want to hear what they have to say about this. Yeah. So I'm excited to talk to them for the next. It'll be our mom's episode first, and then dad's, and then we'll have a mini episode, and then we'll get back to regular deep dives.
Yeah.
So yes, I wanted to thank you all yet again for listening. We have some few announcements for April that are very, very exciting that we're going to be promoting over and over again. So we have 3 events that are going to be this April. We're going to have our Twilight reaction live stream where I'm going to make Liesl watch Twilight. And we're going to do that on Discord. We'll have all that information in there, so don't worry about if you miss it. But we're going to have that. We're going to have our Court of Frost and Starlight live stream reaction to the graphic audio, where we talked to Liesl about that since she didn't listen to it when we deep dived into it. And then we will have our very special fan meetup karaoke night in person at a distinct location that we will give it a later date. But
we also
well, I mean that too, but I mean we're gonna have a form to set up to RSVP so that you can, if you're in the area and you're in the LA area, you can come and meet up with us, and that'd be a fun time. And it's for free, obviously. Like, the
RSVP is just so we know who's coming.
Yeah, so that we can give you, instead of just promoting where the address is, because there are some freaks. So I don't want to promote that and then just someone random show up. But those will be coming up. So please follow our Instagram, Facebook, and TikToks for all of those updates. We thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we hit 2,000 listens overall.
That's insane.
And it's just going up. People are listening more and more, and we're getting more fans reaching out, and it feels so surreal.
Yeah.
We love each and every one of you for listening to us, and even, finding us, if you're new, finding us along this journey of ours. So we really appreciate that. So yeah, we will see you all then in the next episode where we talk to our moms about part 1 of Silver Flame. Good God, help us.
Good luck.
Yeah, wish us luck about that. Honestly, I'm more scared to talk to my dad about this than my mom.
Yeah, get the dude's perspective.
He has been itching, though. He has literally been so when are we recording? I want to record. And I'm like, you were actually more excited about this than I thought you would be. And I'm very happy about it. Yeah, so, that's good. Okay, guys, we hope you have a nice day, night, whenever you're listening to this. And we'll see you guys all in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.